Hello and welcome everybody to App Growth Week. A unique.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Galina. How are you? Good to
Very
see you.
good. How are you, David? Great to
Great,
see you
great.
and welcome everyone.
Everybody, welcome to the unique event that we have for app gamers and developers worldwide. It's the second year Split Metrics has hosted this event. And the reason why we've done it in the second year is because we had increased demand from the previous year. I'm very, very, very excited. I hope everybody can hear and see me well. Let's get it going, guys. Give me some emojis. Let's get going in the chat. Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Give me some love hearts. Give me some claps. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Yeah, happy Tuesday, everyone. David, let's give some thumbs up. We hope that everything is working well for everybody today. And yes, following the chat, we'd like this event to be very interactive today. Encourage you to submit any questions in the chat area, whatever it is on the screen. Provide your feedback to the speakers, and of course, engage into the conversations tonight. And at Split Metrics in general, we invest into educating the market, and we love seeing the mobile apps growing and the games growing. So as a part of our educational mission, we've prepared 3 days, over 20 sessions with over 35 speakers. Let this just sink in. This is incredible. And they're ready to share their insights, best practices, real life experience, which is the most interesting for me personally, within the mobile marketing and within growth. So isn't that amazing, David?
Galena, I'm
What do
excited
you
already. You've sold me already. I'm excited. This
I
is,
know,
ladies and
right?
gents, it's amazing. 3 day mobile marketing marathon. Okay. And these 3 days will be filled with insights on mobile growth, UA, Apple search ads, ASO, optimization, and many, many more. But let's jump into some intros. It's a pleasure of mine to introduce this wonderful colleague of mine, Galina Schneider, 12 years experience in digital marketing, sales, and customer success, motivated by team spirit, value-driven growth, and people-first businesses. Trust me, I know. I see this. She lives it day in, day out, and it's great to see her in action day in, day out. Born and raised in Russia, living in Germany since 2011, loves reading, especially thrillers and detective stories. Oh, very nice, Galina. Very, very
Yeah,
nice.
some sides of me you didn't know, right? And of course, it's a pleasure to stand together today on this virtual stage with my wonderful colleague David, who is the VP of Sales at Split Metrics. He's absolutely amazing. Revenue leader. He built several SaaS revenue teams and doing that amazingly at Split Metrics. He's passionate about helping and developing people to reach their full potential. I also witness that every day. Dublin, born and raised. I want to visit you one day there for sure, David. And last but not least, my favorite part is he is in love with karaoke, and his favorite song is David. Please go ahead, do this.
I want it that way. But today, what we're going to do is, as Robbie Williams was says, let me entertain you. Instead of that, Split Metrics, what we're going to do today is, and for 3 days, we are going to let us educate you. And I'm looking forward to the team doing that also too.
And for those who are not familiar with Split Metrics, which I hope there is nobody here who is not, we are the ecosystem of AI-driven products and services enabling app growth. We are quite a large team, over 160 people in 20 plus countries and growing, adding more locations. We are a proud official Apple Search Ads partner. And of course, we love our customers and it's mutual. We are very, very happy to have amazing clients and amazing partners. And we also recognize in the industry what not to like here.
Yeah.
And David, over to you.
And over 2,000 mobile marketers from all over the globe have registered for App Growth Week. So as Galina mentioned, with great success last year, people coming from Australia, Europe, America, and we're happy, as he said, to educate the mobile community to grow faster. I'm joined today's session from Dublin, Ireland, as you already know from Galina's communication. Galina is joining from Cologne, Germany. So listen, guys and girls, let's get it going in the chat. I want to know where we're logging in from. So please, into the chat, let us know where you're coming in from. Serbia, great. Malta, great. Berlin, Germany,
Berlin.
London. Oh, whoa. Quick fingers, quick
Wow.
fingers, quick fingers. Great. Welcome,
Love
everybody.
that. Love that. So many wonderful countries. And while you guys are joining and writing where you're coming from, I will just tell you that we have our official event hashtag. Yes, that's how cool we are. And please share the updates from the event, share it with your colleagues, with your friends, and all the social networks. We would be very, very happy to get more coverage and more education. And while you're doing this, I would also like to introduce you to our wonderful partners and speakers. Just look at this amazing list. This is just
Woo,
I
woo,
love
woo.
seeing this. Yeah, David, isn't that
Unbelievable.
it's just amazing. We are so
Yeah.
grateful for all the partners who are on this slide, who are contributing to our mission of knowledge sharing. These are the app developers, game developers, mobile tech companies, key industry visionaries and practitioners. This is really 25 organizations. Who would think about this? Just
Yeah, and you know what,
crazy.
Galina? I just want to stop there, and actually, I just want to get a virtual round of applause for each company contributing to App Growth Week. So please, everybody, let's give a virtual round of applause. Let's show some love, some fire, some emojis. Let's go.
This is really great. And behind every name of the company, obviously, there are beautiful people. This is the people-driven businesses at the end of the day. And these are the bright faces of today's event, or not today's, but all 3 days of the event. This is an amazing speakers lineup. It makes me smile so much looking at the 40 speakers and to hear them sharing their insights, best practices, real life examples on the user acquisition, Apple Search Ads, ASO, strategies, anything and everything around mobile growth and combined experience. All the speakers in mobile marketing is larger than the longest living creature on earth, I guess, because it's just like, I don't know how I mean, what about you, David? Are you sharing my excitement? I cannot even find
I'm
words
very
here.
honored. I'm very honored and grateful to be up there with all these wonderful faces and beautiful faces too. And you know what, guys? With these wonderful, beautiful faces, we prepared 3 days of App Growth Week for you. 3 hours, 6 to 7 sessions per day. Okay. Each day is dedicated to its own topic. So today we've got mobile growth, tomorrow Apple Search Ads, and then on the 16th, we have optimization, ASO, user engagement, testing, and validation. And by the way, guys, let's go on here. QR code, scan it in, and you know what we'll do is at the end of each day, we'll be running a quiz and have an opportunity to have some fun and win some nice gifts for your loved ones for Christmas. As we said last year, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Now, let me uncover what to expect today during day 1. Okay, as we said, lots of beautiful faces, mobile growth. Our conversation will be focused on mobile growth with the sessions that include future outlook, practical speeches, real-life experience sessions, and panel discussions with lots of beautiful people, as we said. Please take a moment to look at today's agenda, okay? Now, our event team is posting a direct link into the chat now. We have top App Growth experts from Mobile Growth, Google, Dentsu, Skyscanner, AutoTrader, Integral, Branch, Craftsman Plus, AppRadar, and industry-renowned independent consultants today with us. Lots and lots of experience, lots and lots of insights. Again, let Split Metrics entertain you or educate you. So please feel free to submit your questions in the speakers in our chat. We will do our best to respond. We want to make sure this is as engaging as possible and you get as many insights as possible. So please, please, please help us help you. And let's, Galina, over to you.
David, this is a great overview. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. And before we step into our day 1, I would like to reflect on the past 12 months and see how they shape our future. Because the past 12 months have actually set the tone and focus of our conversation of the App Growth Week 2023, as we are facing a tectonic shift in how people, businesses, and the entire global economy operate. And the name of the shift is AI, artificial intelligence. And let's look at some of the numbers that we just cannot not mention when we talk AI. So this is the market that is estimated to contribute to $15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030. This is really insane. And 50% by only next year already, 50% of large organizations will use AI with whatever automation, data analysis, or any marketing activities already, yeah, as I said, next year. This is also an amazing jump with estimated 60 to 70% time saved thanks to artificial intelligence. So people would have more time for any other creative job and making an impact in whatever industry they are working. And it's not at all. It's about really disruption and the way the AI is disrupting the mobile marketing landscape. The artificial intelligence global mobile artificial intelligence market size is going to be skyrocketing by 2032 from only 15.4 billion last year to expected 170 or over 170 billion less than 10 years from now. This is really a massive growth that we are expecting in this area. We cannot just not look into it. And according to the latest researches, this has been the #1 criteria for choosing a mobile app performance marketing solution. So this is exactly the industry we're all in, and this is already playing a very vital part. So what is the main question that we are putting in front of us during the App Growth Week? It's disrupt or be disrupted. And this is exactly what AI is doing. And with this question in mind, we want to build the App Growth Week event this year to help our community disrupt the market with the help of AI. And you'll hear a lot of sessions and angles and point of views on how mobile marketers can leverage artificial intelligence to skyrocket their app growth. And without further ado, I would like to transition into a more hands-on segment of our event. And we're about to deep dive into dynamic world of AI enhanced strategies, specifically focusing on mobile marketing. And I'm thrilled to announce our first guest speaker for this segment. It's Peggy Anzalz. Peggy is joining us soon, and she is the renowned content strategist and the founder of Mobile Groove. Her experience and expertise in the field make her the perfect guide for us today as we explore how to craft an AI-driven roadmap that can revolutionize your mobile marketing efforts. And I am super delighted to see Peggy opening our first day of App Growth Week. So delighted to have you with us, Peggy.
Great to be here. I'm coming in, and
wonderful. The stage is yours.
The stage is mine. I have to say, the enthusiasm here is contagious. Galina, David, you guys rock, first of all. And it's great to be back because I opened up last year. And it's interesting. A lot of things I said and saw back then, well, they're happening and they're coming into reality because AI enables that. What wasn't possible because it was beyond human capacity is getting closer. So with that, I will take the slides and take us into the mobile futurescape. So we'll start off, introduction myself, very short, because that's not what it's about. It's about the landscape. It's about the future. It's about what I'm very excited about, because yes, it is disrupt or just be disrupted. And that's what we're going to see now and in the future, without a doubt. Myself, I'm a journalist, analyst, content strategist, futurist, founder of Mobile Groove. I'm all about producing, hosting webinars, podcasts, video shows, all to educate the industry. And that's why I feel very, very honored to be here, because we're all on the same team. We all have the same passion, and I can feel it again with you guys from Split Metrics. So let's talk about it. The first wave, that's what I'll call it, because that is where it all started. It was about optimizing ad copy, creatives, ASO, SEO. We're still there. You're probably still in the middle of it. VCs love it because that's one of the reasons. It does have a practical side, which is why investment has grown over 13x in the last decade, and it's going to continue. Businesses, marketers, well, they love it. They're using it. They're bullish about it. And you can read the different reports. 71% of marketers, for example, surveyed as part of a Sprout Pulse survey, said that they are well advanced in integrating AI and automation into their workflows. And 82% of them say it's working. It has a positive result. But of course, there have been some lessons, some shortcomings, some hits, some misses, right? And the research also gives us a view into that as well, because somewhere between 60 to 80% of all AI projects, not just marketing, so it's everywhere, are failing, according to analysts and experts. Gartner's probably the most dismal because it's the highest of all. It says that it's 85% of projects don't deliver or simply fall short altogether. Now, to be fair, sometimes it's just because we expect too much of it. You know, we have great expectations and we say, oh, there's going to be a moment where conversion plummets, but it's all going to be better when it's statistically significant. And other times, well, it's just training, mismatch of talents or training. You know, the whole idea of garbage in, garbage out, well, that works. And with ChatGPT, you've seen it yourself. It is garbled and can get very garbled, depending on what you give it to start with. So the other side of this is why I went to Marketunist. Great place to find great sayings that will keep us going in marketing and just giving us a little bit of fun, because it's talking about why bringing all this together is one reason why AI-generated content has been popularly described as infinite words nobody wants. And the whole point there is because AI is very powerful, but it's also can be a very powerful conformity engine. And so what you're doing is you're producing great stuff that Google search engine algorithms just love, more maybe than actual people. So the bottom line is you're creating more and more of sameness. Sameness is not a strategy. The bottom line, very obvious, even here in the cartoon, we can't break through the clutter if we're adding to it. But I'm excited because the breakthroughs are coming. This is the whole point of the second wave. It's going to be, and it's already started, it's going to be bigger, it's going to be more impactful, because it's going to be about co-creation with AI. And more importantly, bringing marketers one step to that nirvana, one big step toward one-to-one marketing, which is where it all started anyway. That was the idea. We've moved away from that. My presentation, I'm going to show you how we're moving back. So I'm going to look at how the future of marketing is shaping up now because of AI, different aspects of AI that have already started to transform a lot of what you do and how you do your job better. Yes, I look at research, but I've also based this on observations with, first of all, being in the industry for over 20 years, but also talking to dozens of, well, actually, I would say hundreds, because now we're back and we're going to real events, not just virtual ones. So yes, hundreds of interviews, meetups, talking to marketing experts and finding out what they think, what they do, what they embrace, and what they're looking forward to. So I'm breaking it down into what I'm calling 3 remarkable ways AI is changing the rules. Areas where AI and marketing, machine learning rather, are redefining your strategy, possibly your roadmap to acquire, engage, and grow your audience. And I break it down into, because I love alliteration, surveys, segmentation, super cool creatives. If that's not exciting, I don't know what is. But here, we'll start with surveys. Surveys are becoming assessments because AI is becoming a human insights engine that measures and can measure human cognition at scale. What does that mean? It means being able to build experiences that exceed audience expectations, because AI systems can capture psychometric data. They can ingest it. They can offer reliable, actionable recommendations based on customers' intrinsic needs. And AI also examines, if you have a very good approach, examines the construct. You know, are you asking what you should be asking if you want to be measuring what you should be measuring, right? So if you look at an example of, do you like creative A or B? right? Big question. Many of you are probably asking. What are you actually asking? What do you actually want to measure? Do you want to know the effectiveness of an asset, or do you want to just get multiple choice questions, answers that are based on how I feel about a color at a certain time? And then the question is, AI needs to therefore adapt the questions, develop the questions to suit the users. That's where it's morphing into assessments. That's more than a snapshot, more than a multiple choice quiz or survey or test. It is assessing psychological traits. It is also assessing the questions, the question bank, the questions it asks each user. It's actually learning about the user and adapting that. So it understands more about the kind of person you are, what matters to you. And guess what? That turns into the question and the question construct. And beyond that, the approach, it is possible to compare those responses with all of the psychological data, all of the data around that question to check for randomness, bias, and outliers. Very important. Now, that's what we want to be seeing. Good news is we are starting to see that, because one company I've seen in my research making its mark here is a company called Solstin. So it's a company that lives at the intersection of customer understanding and experience design. So it combines AI, deep audience understanding, and what it calls precision psychology to go upstream from demographics and behavior to understand users' motivations, values, hopes, etc. Then it also tailors the experiences to these audiences, allowing marketers, people in product, whoever is asking the question, to deliver the features that resonate with the audience and therefore drive the results. So it knows what people appreciate, and it helps marketers harness that through adaptive user assessment, always understanding what drives engagement, what drives churn, how can you improve media spend. These are the types of questions you can ask. And there's an example that shows it works well, in particular for games. In just 2 months, for example, it allowed Supercell to increase KPIs, 22% increase in the number of daily sessions, and 18% in the average daily playtime. So next trend I'm seeing, next big thing I'm seeing is segmentation becomes individualization. It's more like a rethink, you might think, but actually it's a revolution. And it's in this scenario that AI liberates marketers from their preconceived notions around what they think customers are supposed to like or dislike. Because up until now, you, the marketer, you have decided how to bucket people, relying on demographics, observations, assumptions about people. AI turns this approach on its head, and it paves the way for a bottoms-up approach that adapts marketing and messaging to people's actions. When what these actions really say about us, the people, what we think is attractive and valuable. So put another way, if you want to think about it this way, it's like AI looking at the customer actions and then thinking of that as a single source of truth, and using that to define key aspects of marketing, for example, like push notifications, which is the most personal you're ever going to get with your users. And if using the single source of truth, message tone, timing, what really resonates, that's what really works. Why is this significant? Because it's customer-led, bottom-up, not top-down, because marketing, messaging, everything needs to engage users at every stage. The problem is marketers aren't architecting journeys, they make flowcharts. That's what you've been learning, and that's fine, except people, individuals, don't follow that route. People are fiercely individual. And in addition, user journeys are often tone deaf. They're built to guide users through apps, but these journeys are your journeys. They're not contextually aware necessarily of what's going on in our lives. So here is where I see new approaches. And one company I've noticed breaking new ground is AMP. AMP, just to sort of sum it up, integrates with the MarTech stack. So it's got a core position, if you want to think of it that way. It understands what users have done in the past, ingests the data to determine what users are likely to do next, and the messaging tone, the content, everything that will have a huge impact on that. It also looks at real user actions, propensity triggers in user patterns, matching these attributes to their exhibited behavior, as well as a sequence of events that these behaviors and actions prompted in the first place. So, in other words, AMP is predicting the future with high confidence. And then, for example, messaging what marketers need to deliver, what cadence, specific customers, in order to influence actions outcomes, such as retention, repeat purchases, and more. So you have to think of it in a way as the way you would manage a portfolio. You are seeing what people are doing, and AI, the AI-informed view, frames that in a rich complexity, adapting and allocating messages to users with a high propensity to act on them. And rather than dealing with the heavy lifting of right copy, right audience, right A/B testing, the whole idea is that AI-powered messaging allows you to write loads of creative copy and messaging and let AMP basically figure out who will act on them. So marketers have more time for planning strategy, and they can move the needle on their app. And thinking of that and moving on to creative, that brings me to my big transformation trend, the advance of super cool creatives and all the possibilities that are there. But first, a mind-blowing example of how far generative AI has come in a short time. And speaking of time, I am running a little low on time, but I will wrap it up as quickly as I can, Galina and David, because thanks to the great folks over at Replay, a creative intelligence platform helping mobile companies build creative strategies, I have an example here from the UA Society event I went to last October in London. So the question is to us, to the audience, everybody here, which of these images is not the real deal? That is, which image is generated by AI? We have a poll, so please cast your vote. Marina, you can help me out here.
Yes, it's here already.
Okay. So cast your vote, and I will wrap this up quickly. We're near the end. Marina, I can't actually take care of the vote, so maybe you can tell me the kinds of results you're seeing. Do you want to just run it for a moment, or?
Yes, 1 second. I will end poll and share the results. So the winners are B, and the answer all of the above.
Haha, I did the same thing, actually. I did the same thing. The answer is they were all generated by AI. So that is why I'm so excited about this, because that was a shocker, but it also opens our eyes to the opportunities. And that wasn't the only opportunity, the eye-opening moment. I also got to know Kenji Vinatu here, creative director at Voodoo, deep into AI and creatives, and he shared, and I'm sharing it with you, how AI is helping Voodoo make the move from hyper casual to casual games, because it allows them to do things faster and do things better. In this case, he was sharing with me, it's an effort for finding the winning app icon, and it showed that it was a 3x increase in rigorous A/B testing, lower cost, 30% cheaper. I could go on, but the point is, it creates high-performing creatives. Where's this going? Well, it doesn't just stop there. Kenji gives us a view into characters. It's going to impact music. It's going to be about lyrics. It's going to be about voice, and a massive time savings to beat. Marina, do we have time to play this short video to show where this is all leading?
You think you can beat me, darling? Let's see you try. You wanna challenge me, honey? Don't underestimate me, sweetie, or you'll be sorry you did. Oh, you wanna challenge me, honey? Don't underestimate me.
Okay, the point is here that it was completely created by AI, lip syncing, music, thinking of the lyrics, thinking of the song, doing the character. The bottom line is a lot of really exciting things are coming, and I'm trying to forward this. There we go. So a lot of exciting things are coming, and I will take a few of Kenji's predictions with a big +1 from me. Bottom line is creative will not be replaced by AI, but will allow more people, more non-art people, to get involved in the process. You will evolve, and you may become your own creative director, as Kenji did. But there's a downside, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it today. Ads, copycats will grow. And so will the pressure to keep up with the high volume of A/B testing. If you can do it 3,000 times faster or harder or better, then obviously there's something to keep up with. And it's a dynamic that may end up creating, back where we started, more similarities than standout winners. And I'm going to end very quickly with my view into the future and put my ideas on top of Kenji's. No UA without AI is my #1 thought here. 2, as we saw from the companies I took you through, adaptive approaches like the one I showed from AMP across the life cycle. Well, that will deliver competitive advantage. And last word for everyone out there, a little bit of optimism, but a little bit of a warning. AI will not take your job. Absolutely not. But someone who can use AI will. So if you like what I'm sharing here, then sign up for my newsletter, because that's what it is. I talk to people. It's insights directly from interviews, directly to your inbox. And thank you so much. And I hope you're as excited about the future as I am. And now well prepared, because Split Metrics is going to take it away and teach us a lot more. Thanks again for the opportunity.
Peggy, thank you so much. That was super insightful, and I especially like the part that AI is not going to take our jobs, but rather the people who can use it. That's why we're all here, and we want to learn how to use it. Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause for Peggy and Zalt, and dive then deeper into our topics and see who is next on the line. And while we're getting all our panelists coming into the room to us, I'm going to give you a little bit more information about what we're going to be talking in our panel discussion. So the panel discussions topic is one size doesn't fit all, customizing user acquisition approaches by category. Over the next hour, we will dive into main trends, challenges, talk about them, explore innovative solutions that are captivating the attention of the UA experts across all the niche and verticals. We're going to cover a lot of different verticals and also topics. And as you can see, we have really very good panel of the industry leaders and the experts and seasonal practitioners from completely different companies. And I would like to, first of all, extend the warm welcome to the first panelist and ask everybody, when I'm going to be presenting you, just to say a couple of sentences about yourself so that our audience would know a little bit more about you. So the first one is Thomas Petit, and he is the app growth consultant.
Yes, hello, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Very happy to be here. I hope the sound is okay. It's not my usual setup. I'm very honored to be with everyone else here, and I think Peggy did a fantastic job at opening and warming up this AppGrowth week. So I'm very happy to be here. I'm known online as Thomas Bicien. I work in so in the subscription app space. And hopefully we can all bring you some inputs between all of us today in this panel. So happy to be here. Thanks.
I'm so sure. Great to have you, Thomas. Welcome. And the next panelist that we have today is Mariusz Konchewski. He is the CEE Mobile Gaming and Apps Lead at Google. Welcome, Mariusz.
Hello, it's a really great pleasure to join this amazing panel. So I work at Google, working with top mobile gaming and apps companies. I work a lot of data. I work a lot of with like analyzing the trends. So we'll be happy to share my perspective with the crowd.
Love it. Happy to have you here. Okay, moving further, and we have Thomas Turney joining us from Dentsu, where he is the client manager app. Welcome, Thomas.
How you doing? You okay? Yeah, I guess just I've recently just joined Dentsu myself, so I've come from client side to agency side, which is massive shock, which is fun. But yeah, definitely getting my hands stuck into multiple clients, learning as I go as well, which is really fun. And yeah, looking forward to sharing some information with you guys.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Looking forward to it. Then joining us today would be the Daniel Lupu, who is the paid search marketing manager at Skyscanner. Welcome, Daniel.
Hey, hi everyone. I'm Daniel, senior marketing manager at Skyscanner, where I'm managing the paid app activity across the main acquisition channels, with a focus on Apple search ads and Google ads. Really nice to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
That's great. Wonderful that you're with us. And last but not least is Paul Davey, who is the senior mobile marketing manager at Autotrader. Welcome, Paul.
Thanks, Galina. Yes, so Paul from Autotrader. I've been with Autotrader about 4 years, but in the mobile industry about a decade now, believe it or not. But please don't ask me any questions about cars. I'm not a mechanic. I can maybe help you find a make or model, but it's not my area of expertise.
Well, that's good you're saying that beforehand. So yeah, I'm encouraging everybody to add your questions in the chat area. So not about the cars to Paul, obviously, but any other questions about mobile growth. And yeah, I'm super delighted to host this panel discussion today. So again, my name is Galina Schneider. I'm the VP of Customer Success and Support at Splitmetrics. So without further ado, let's dive into the conversation of the mobile journey. So in the beginning of 2023, we heard a lot of pessimistic forecasts on consumer spending, ad budgets, app revenue, everything is bad, collapse of the industry. So Mariusz, is the industry on the path to recovery, or are we going to be having any more challenges ahead? What do you think?
So actually, if we look at the latest data, it's actually really improving. So if we even let's look at the data AI data. In October 2023, we had like 20%, 12% year over year, which was the second month in the row with such growth, because the September 2023 was with 12% year over year revenue as well. Which is like a really big change, because at the beginning of the year we had mostly negative growth rate, and in the middle of the 2022 it happened that we had the months with the growth rate around like -12, -14% year over year. So that definitely it's improving on the mobile gaming side. If we look at on the non-gaming in general, it's really growing in the last months. So actually, if we look at the revenue based on some even learnings from the mobile gaming, where, for example, topics like subscriptions became way more popular versus in the past. So that topic was really growing, but still actually it's growing. It moved from double-digit growth rate to single-digit growth rate, but still on the positive side. What we see, of course, as well in that growth rate, the emerging markets and tier 2, tier 3 markets matter more and more. So in general, over the last months, still, of course, US is the biggest market, but is kind of below average. And there are some markets, even including, for example, Poland, Turkey, South Korea that are really growing very fast, very often with double-digit growth rate, even sometimes higher than 20% year over year. So I think that's one side. Of course, the other side, which is sometimes a bit more challenging, is that, for example, if we look at the data and we look by the perspective of the data, for example, in mobile gaming, I look at the data and I look at the top games again by the revenue estimation, and like on Android, almost 40% of the revenue from those games are created by the games that were created in 2017 and earlier. So in iOS, it's actually this share is even higher, which means again this revenue concentration actually makes the life more difficult, especially for new entries in terms of the barrier. And of course, it's a bit lower on the non-gaming side, where usually we have I would say bigger difference between like one, two, maybe a few leading apps in the specific category. But we can expect this concentration to be growing as well.
Oh, that's great, Marius. Thank you so much for the insights. I mean, that's good to hear that there is an opportunity, and we are very positive people in that case. And following what you just said, about the opportunity and that the growth of the market is there, I would like to ask Thomas Petit here to comment in general on maybe any pivotal trends that you are seeing that are shaping the user acquisition strategies across different niches today to use this opportunity of growth.
Thanks, Galina. Very good introduction from Marius. And before I get to trends, it makes me think that my whole career I've looked at gaming and looked at them as pioneers, and basically not copy, but inspired by the fact that it was so much advanced, and try to bring this to non-gaming. And that's worked very well for me. Look at what the best are doing and try to bring it elsewhere. I think that gap is shrinking, but we still have a lot to learn of what's happening in gaming today, especially concentration and how you survive when you're not the number one. So that's obviously very true because it's maturing in non-gaming as well. And there is space for number 2, 5, 10, or 50, but not in the same scale. So I think that was a very good opening from Marius. Other than that, like I was expecting more change this year, and I think the fact that we didn't move to Scan 4 or that fingerprinting is still, let's say, tolerated, to put it mildly, as delayed a little bit major changes that I think are going to happen next year. So I'm very much looking forward to Scan 4 and obviously to the Android Privacy Sandbox that is going to come roughly at the same time, I guess, a little bit before or after, it doesn't matter. So that would be for next year. I was expecting it for this year, but we've all prepped and nothing coming. So that was interesting to see. On the channels, obviously, because of measurement, the change were not that significant. I think the bigger ones are coming. I think one of the things that really was interesting this year is how we moved from normal ad campaign into what TikTok calls Sparks, or Instagram or Meta would call it boosting the content of other. Instead of posting on your account, you would put money to push content on others people's account. And I think that was that's not new, but it really took a very different scale this year. And that's a very interesting one to follow. And last but not least, maybe I kept the cake for the last, is obviously, like we saw in the opening with Peggy, how AI is gonna change, obviously on creative, but it's transformational, how it's changing a lot of things that goes from production, data analysis, creative, obviously, campaign optimization, it's really all through. So I think we have the occasion to go a little bit more in depth, but I wanted to start with those ones that have shaped a little bit this year and are a really good opening to what's coming next year.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much for adding more pieces to this puzzle. And I think that was a great comment also about the gaming companies being a driven force for many new things that are coming in the industry. So here I would also like to
I'll add a funny one, Galina, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I had that saying that I haven't said for a very long time, but before I worked in apps about 10 years ago, I used to work in e-commerce, and I did the exact same. what I was looking at porn, because they were the pioneer. They pioneered payments in the 90s. They pioneered conversion optimization. Like, it was unbelievable. And so in a extrapolated way, like, I look at games for my non-gaming apps just the same way I was looking at porn for my e-commerce businesses before.
I love this inside story. We're all coming from the crazy 90s, right? So yeah, wonderful. So what exactly is happening then in the other niches? Yeah, if we are talking porn, games, what is happening in the travel niche? So maybe Daniel, you want to share a little bit on maybe some top performing channels or anything that you see that is sticking in your area.
Thanks, Galina. Yeah, I think travel is an interesting sector. Not long ago, the industry was significantly impacted by COVID. That's when a lot of advertisers completely paused their paid UA activity. Then, as lockdowns lifted, I think businesses gravitated towards, let's say, the biggest, more established channels like Google Ads and Apple Search Ads, Facebook, and so on. And then at some point, those channels, as those channels reached maturity, I think travel businesses wanted to tap into new audiences. And that's where platforms like TikTok maybe come in, even though it's not very new. So businesses wanted to tap into the power of influencer campaigns and user-generated content to create that sense of trust and authenticity. Then in terms of the new channels, I think we've seen relatively decent growth in terms of connected TV. And a lot of businesses are using DSPs, especially when it comes to retargeting. So yeah, there are like a lot of new channels into the mix recently. But something I wanted to eventually call out is that whenever businesses test new channels, if they don't see the same performance as they see on one of their more established channels, they tend to hit the pause button immediately. And I think that can be a mistake sometimes. So what I'd encourage them to do is to look at performance from a blended perspective. So you look at the blended CPI or the blended ROAS across all your channels, and you might notice that performance isn't that bad, and you'll be able to drive those incremental installs, keep the channel live, and eventually have budget to test new channels as well. So yeah, that's my take on it.
That's great, Daniel. Thank you so much for already some hands-on examples here on how to look at the UA strategy. That's wonderful. And I think that we shouldn't leave the channel mix diversification topic without talking to Paul as well and asking for his perspective on the UA channel mix across your vertical.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Auto Trader is perhaps a little bit different. So maybe, if I just ground a little bit in terms of where Auto Traders come from. So we're based in the UK, but perhaps for those that are not here in the UK, they won't know that actually Auto Trader was founded back in the 80s as a print magazine. So, we have really established a very strong brand here in the UK. And that definitely does afford us a degree of strength when it comes to user acquisition. But for anyone who's purchased a car in the last couple of years, I think you'll recognize that buying a car is not something that you do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. It is at best, generally, it's kind of a 3 to 4 year kind of cycle. And therefore the length of the car buying journey is pretty much, it's over 3 months long. And obviously, as a result of that, it has kind of multiple touch points when it comes to UA. So for us, we do have to use a lot of kind of intent indicators that are a little bit further up the funnel, because we don't actually monetize directly on the platform as well. So we don't sell the car directly. So it just does bring some challenges in terms of how we approach UA. And certainly, if I consider some of the new tools like Scan, which have felt very aligned to kind of gaming and gambling, They don't work for kind of our business model because it's obviously a 3-month plus buying cycle. So we have had to rely a little bit more on kind of historical data, and that's kind of driven us to the Apple search ads, the Facebooks, the Google app campaigns, which have just historically worked so well for us. And is sadly probably a little bit of a reflection of their market dominance as well. But I think what's interesting is certainly over the last 12 months, we have felt the need to, refresh that creative a little bit more often. And I think positively, we've seen some new tools from some of those providers that now allow us to kind of take that user journey a little bit deeper into the app experience. And I think we'll come on a little bit later to perhaps talk about custom product pages as one of those as an example. I think just one controversial point of opinion that I have is we do run a very strong brand defense campaign on Apple search ads. And I know there are a lot of people out there that perhaps new into the mobile industry launching apps for the first time may well feel that that's not the right thing to do. But certainly from the perspective of brands that have strong establishment in the mobile app industry, we've switched it off at times, we've switched it back on, and we simply can't offset the loss of audience that we see when we switch that campaign off. So I think for us, it performs very, very strongly indeed.
That's interesting insights on Apple search ads already. Now, thank you so much for sharing, Paul. And before we are going a little bit deeper into AI, how about we look into our chat and some of the questions? Maybe you would like to get challenged a little bit. And Thomas, yeah, I see you're excited. So, for example, this one, we recently launched a meditation app, iOS. Yeah, something from other category. Would you recommend using Meta ads for acquiring our first users? What targeting strategies should we consider? Thanks in advance. Does anybody want to help?
All right, getting a bit more tactical, maybe I'll take it. Yeah, we talk about new channels. Different products have different needs because of the stage they're at. Obviously, AutoTrader or Skyscanner are not gonna use the exact same tactics, but also the same channel as a new coming app. For me, starting on Meta is a complete no-brainer in this particular vertical. It's almost, if you can't make it on Meta, it's possible you're not going to make it anywhere because it's the one channel that most of the vertical has managed to grow on and really crack. Doesn't mean it's easy, but it does mean I do believe it's a strong choice to start there. For about 2 years, I would definitely try to balance it out with TikTok, which creative direction is a bit different, and you might find success on one and not on the other. So that would be the two I start with before getting to diversification, like the other panelists have done. And if I had one recommendation, because I'm seeing this a lot, mistake from new coming app is you can't go small. You have to go big from the get-go because of how scan is working, and also because of how optimization is working today based on data and on machine learning. So if you're feeding machine learning 8 conversions, it can't do anything for you. It can't be done manually. And sadly for the smaller developer, that means that it's hard because there's an entry barrier. You definitely don't want to be spending $500 or $5,000. It's just not enough to prove that a channel is working. You need to keep insisting with more money, but also a little bit more time for the campaigns to settle. So to the question, yes, start on Meta. That's good. Don't go too small. Go big or go home, as would be my recommendation.
That's cool. Thank you so much, Thomas. That's wonderful that we can get some advices directly from the panelists today. And so maybe since you already got the mic, we can then continue with you and talking about the artificial intelligence and in general, how that can be used in the daily activities, yeah? And the daily activities, obviously, of the user acquisition managers, and where do you see the most potential for the UA?
What's fantastic for us is that because it works in the background on the servers of Meta and Google, we're not realizing that it's been 6-7 years that actually campaigns are running on machine learning and automation because it just happens. So 10 years ago, as a media buyer, I would run a ton of ad groups, learn a lot of micro optimization, change my bids, targeting, whatnot. this is all already automated for a few years. So it's good to be aware that that part is so advanced already, even if we don't really see it. And sometimes it has been painful. It came with a lot of pros and a few cons, but it's already a reality on the campaign management side. I think a lot of the talk today on the creative, and we have touched it a little bit. I think Peggy did a fantastic job. I don't want to dig too deep. I think what people are understanding, well, I'm really excited to see how video is improving now, like because we started on text and then image, and we have some kind of animation, and the one Peggy showed was fantastic. But for video, we're not there yet at the level that most marketers would want for their creative. But at the pace we're going, we're talking months at most. So this is exciting. I think there's one point that gets a little bit undervalued at the moment is how AI can be used for creative analysis, like not creative production, but really like feeding a lot of metrics on top funnel metrics and hook rate, hold rates, and CTR, and percentage of the video view, and like a bunch of information like this, and actually make this. There are a few tools in the market that do that. A bunch of vendors, Replay is doing it. One I forgot the name, VidCap or something. Does this. I know AppsFlyer is cooking something as well. Like there's a bunch of tools where not just of interpreting the data, but also they can read into the creative and say, oh, in these two ads, the character had a yellow t-shirt and the two ads worked. And like really make connecting dots that as humans, when you're testing 20 creative per week or whatnot, like you're just not gonna reach that level of, oh, this end card is always working. And you don't have to rely on taxonomy and naming conventions. Like it's so much more powerful. So I'm not going to dig much on creative and even ASO, but I think there are other corners that AI is really where AI is already changing the game for the most advanced. So yeah, like I said at the very beginning, think of it as a transformational thing and not like, oh, there's AI, I'm going to produce my creative with it. Like there's so much more than that. Like it's really try to think of every single bit of things you're doing every day and how it can apply there. I think that's a good mindset to have. You don't know what you're going to discover, but at least try to dig and see for yourself.
Yeah, that's great approach. Something like use artificial intelligence to enhance your human intelligence. So and kind of like walk around. That's really nice. And maybe Mariusz, you would like to add something from your perspective, like especially gaming, maybe since you are more involved into that niche. You know, gamers being pioneers of that. Anything you might want to add here to what Thomas just mentioned, and maybe to what Peggy also.
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely interesting and like complex topic. Yeah, it exists for many years already, and I think there are like a few not obvious aspects of it. Yeah, for example, like the one is that in general, like we have the growth of the AI driven mechanics and approaches, but it's still based on the data. Yeah, so like shit in, shit out. Yeah, which means that in general, like it creates like really strong motivation to create strong cooperation between creative, data, and UA teams. Yeah, because at the end of the day, like in many cases, what we have as the input for the UA team is just the, for example, some input created by another team, for example, from the data perspective. Yeah. And I think we see actually more and more often. Yeah, I was really analyzing, for example, data AI estimates around growth and UA like growth rates. Yeah, and it was actually quite interesting to see that in general the percentage of the growth of the paid installs was actually higher in case of the bigger companies than smaller ones, which is actually in many cases, for example, is coming from the aspect that like more and more UA-driven platforms are actually based on the data, which means that in general, if you have really good approach to the data and you have quite a lot of data, then it's easier for you to use that potential and power of that AI. Then I think what is happening as well is that what we see that like one obvious approach towards the AI is, for example, creatives, and we see it more and more. But like the other one, which is getting more and more common, is, for example, understanding LTV curve. Yeah, understanding where is the breakthrough for the profit versus the revenue, because not necessarily always the growth of the revenue means growth of the profit. Then understanding what is the trade-off between the scale and the risk, because okay, on one side you can more rely, for example, on the long-term metrics and long-term data, but then of course it creates more potential risk, versus on the other side you can use more like short-term data, but then it can actually be very short-term driven in terms of okay, it creates growth of the users for short term and then will not grow the business in the long term. Yeah. So I think these topics related to understanding, for example, proxy for the LTV, like what are like the events that are early in the user journey, and we can really based on them understand the LTV of the users. I think those parts are actually getting more and more interesting and are not really trivial in the life of the UI person. And I would say more and more they have the influence on the final success, especially that if we like include together, let's see, this creative part, data part, and UI part, then we have together a lot of attributes together, which means like, let's say you have the performance of creative on the general level, like A can be better than B, but if you go deeper and you start to look by the country, start to look by the platform, start to look by the specific profile of the user, the difference could be huge. And again, the main base and the main condition for using AI for that is really having the access to good and consent data, because now it's actually not only about getting the data, but it's about getting consent data where the users agree to share the data, which will be probably not so easy in the future.
Okay, thank you very much for such an extensive answer. And you were also touching base right now, like around AI, obviously, but also LTV and talking about ROI and this all. I would like to hear also the perspective of Thomas Turney, as you had an opportunity to work both on the customer side and on the agency side. In general, like around the ROI topic, how important this is for the customers and for the agencies. What are the maybe the various channels and the ways you would establish there to work towards the ROI, and whether it's also in connection to the user acquisition strategies or maybe the creative strategies and trends that you might be using around that topic.
So yeah, I guess throughout the year, from what I've seen, is a lot of people want to be on platforms, on every single platform. They want to have their fingers in all of the pies. And that's not the best tactic to have. I feel like the best strategy is to have your bread and butter, which I would always resort to. UAC and ASA is your bread and butter. And looking at the chat, most of the apps seem relatively new to the market. And just from that perspective, understand what your users are doing within the app. Take those learnings and then branch out to other platforms, because then your creative and everything will come with it, and just add that on as you go. I feel like people are too eager to start making TikTok advertising, start making Facebook advertising, YouTube advertising. Your costs are just going to go up. Keep it as simple as possible when you first start out, and it will just grow naturally. Take those learnings and just let it do what it needs to do. And then obviously you can start to take a bit more risks. Obviously, as the app grows, hopefully your budget will grow as well, which is what I've seen. And just take that forward and just keep, basically, don't stop A/B testing. That's what I always say to people. Always be looking for the next new thing and take advantage of it and just see how far you can go with it. I would steer away from, a lot of people just think because they're on social platforms, social's the strongest point. It's definitely not. Don't pay influencers loads of money to promote your app. The blue tick warriors, as I call them. Sorry if you're on this call, but yeah. Yeah, because as a consumer of apps, I don't know if anyone else is in the same boat, but as soon as I see an influencer pushing an ad, I'm just like, that's a paycheck for you. You don't care about the brand or the reputation of it. So definitely something to look into. But yeah, that's probably all that I have to add on that one.
That's some very great insights. And in general, I do believe that, you know, testing, A/B testing, try and error is something that we all live and breathe in mobile advertising and marketing, and that's something that helps us move forward. Like your favorite, by the way, if I want to ask, if I'm to ask static or video, what would you say, or both, or with regards to creatives?
I'd say video, just because of how massive and scalable it is. I mean, you look at TikTok, Instagram Reels, I think YouTube Shorts, they're all around 2 billion monthly active users or something ridiculous like that. And your market and your reach and the scalability is there. I feel like with a still image, you just get lost in terms of advertising. In terms of obviously bringing it back down to your ASO, try and just be different. I say that there's a saying, I think it's called habituation or something like that. I think it's called, where if you looked in the App Store now, most apps with their stills, the phone split down the middle with that journey. We're becoming mundane and numb to that sort of static image, and that doesn't appeal to a user. So it's really an argument over what your brand messaging is. Don't sacrifice your brand for performance. Always keep that foundation and just really understand what drives a user to your app, but don't tarnish your brand's name in order to drive like a cheap user or someone who's not going to stay around for long. So always keep that in the back of your mind. Don't just feel I have to drive X amount of installs. Like have some pride in what you're trying to promote.
That's some great advices over there. Thank you very much for that. And obviously, all the creatives and branding and whatever, it all has to drive to the max ROAS, to ROI, everything that you know, the advertisers want to get then at the end. And I would like to ask Paul to share maybe some experiences on optimizing the campaigns, or Apple Search Ads campaigns to that matter, to get the maximum ROAS on AutoTrader. I think that would be very interesting.
Yeah, no problems. And this will probably be a really shameless plug for Splitmetrics. So that's yeah.
That was my idea.
Yeah. So apologies for anyone who's on an alternative platform. Yeah, exactly. So and yeah, we started life with Splitmetrics probably about we're about 18 months in now. And before Splitmetrics, I must add that we weren't with any other kind of external provider. We were using the native Apple Search Ads platform. And obviously for anyone who's used that, you know, if you haven't tried an external provider, Splitmetrics is one. I'm sure there's many others as well. You will quickly realize it is a pretty horrific platform to use. And I think, you know, some of the things that immediately kind of stood out to me when we started to use Splitmetrics is the fact that obviously if you're using an MMP, you can pull in some of the custom events that obviously are way down the funnel beyond kind of taps and installs. And obviously you can start to optimize to some of those key things. So for us, it was kind of lead generation, cost per lead. We had ad views as well. And you quickly realize that obviously there are particular campaigns and keywords that obviously drive great install volume, but actually the quality of those installs is not necessarily such a good thing. So obviously it helps us to kind of optimize towards some of those better performing campaigns in terms of some of those custom events. And I think crucially, one of the positive steps that we've taken with the team is we've now started to run automation campaigns as well. So we're not a particularly big performance marketing team here, and Apple Search Ads requires constant kind of changing and iteration to see what obviously competitors are doing, share of voice, where there's targeting, where they're targeting kind of you know, particular keywords. You've got to constantly evolve your keyword discovery activity. So, you know, for us, being able to deploy some of our automated campaigns around, you know, removing kind of non-performing keywords or optimizing keywords for particular cost per tap against core KPIs, I think has been a really instrumental step in terms of improving our performance quite significantly. And I think probably the last one is obviously there now are some great new opportunities in the market. So custom product pages is one that obviously everyone's got quite excited about. And to be honest, I was a little bit skeptical at the beginning. I think you can't change all of the different elements on the product page that perhaps are the most influential things like the title or subtitle. It's very much limited to kind of screenshots. But for a company such as Auto Trader, where you can buy, sell used cars, new cars, electric cars, motorbikes, e-bikes, there's so much you're trying to convey in such a small set of screenshots. You simply can't do it all in one product page. And I think that has kind of really encouraged us to look at custom product pages. So we've just introduced one around selling, and we've optimized the screenshots to just purely present workflow, the app workflow around selling. And what we've seen from that is some really positive results in terms of tap through rate, conversion rate, and ultimately it's driven kind of an increase in downloads from those particular keywords. And also our cost per install has come down kind of around 20%. So, it does feel a bit of heavy lifting to obviously sometimes work with creative teams to get screenshots, but I highly encourage you to look at custom product pages if you are wanting to talk about particular features of your app to your audience.
That sounds really cool. Thank you so much. And I do believe the CPP is a great thing that appeared, and there is a lot of potential there. And some companies still kind of did not uncover that how to use it in the right way. So that's great that you also mentioned that. And thank you so much for sharing your experience. And since this topic in general, ROAS and campaign optimization, is so important, and everybody is usually kind of all the questions are kind of driving around that, maybe we can also stay here for a while. And Thomas Petit, would you maybe like to share the universal UA tactics that can maximize ROAS across various categories, maybe some insights, maybe something about CPP or anything that you would like to share on that matter?
Is everything really universal, except the fact that we all want more ROAS and more scale? Because the thing is, when a tactic gets widely used, it gets fatigue as well. Once everybody is doing it, then it doesn't work as well. And I think it's Thomas Tierney who said that before, every apps out there have the same screenshot, and maybe it's time to do something different and try and stand out. So, I mean, it's just a bit of a pun, but it's also a bit of a mindset thing to have. There's no universal hack that's going to work forever and for everybody. And we touched on a few things here already. I mentioned scale, don't go too small. Obviously, because it's automated, now it's really hands-off. You have to make your bets about the events you're feeding, what we optimize towards and the budget, but you have to let go. I see way too marketers try to micromanage their campaign and change every 2 days and go up and go down and remove creative. Machine learning is extremely efficient if you understand the way it works, and if you start changing your bids and your budget and your creative every 2 days, it's doomed to fail. I mean, it just doesn't work this way. So you just have to embrace the way it is. So that would be another one. Don't be too impatient. Sometimes it's tough because the results are not what you want at the beginning, and there's a learning period, and you're not on your goals, but you have to swallow it. You have to put a minimum budget and a minimum of time before you make decisions. Don't be too impatient. That would be another one. And obviously, as most of this gets automated and you've got less work, strategic work at the beginning, but then you let it go. A lot of the work is on the asset that you feed. For me, basically, the two big, not just for me, the two big things is what you optimize towards and the creative assets that you're feeding in there. So obviously, most of the battle is on the creative assets. This is when you're going to win or lose. So try a lot, keep A/B testing, was said as well, but inspire from others, stand out as well, go a bit. I see a lot of people do the mistake of trying things that are too similar. So be a bit radical about testing really new things, not a variant of the same thing again. And maybe the last one, and I think is a good segue because we wanted to talk about measurement a little bit. And there was a mention before, we want ROAS, but at the end of the day, this platform, they're not going to optimize for the LTV that's going to happen in 6 months or 2 years or whatever. And so you have to use proxies in the short term. And I think there's a lot of work there about what is the best proxy for you that helps machine learning gets faster action, but does still correlate well with your goal. And as a marketer, really interpret it well, because it's only a proxy and some kind of traffic is not going to behave the same. Scan is extremely limited in this matter, and not having the cohorting is really hindering our ability to drive performance. That's also one of the reasons I'm a little bit excited, because we can extend the window to 30 days and see how those cohorts are evolving, because day zero behavior is never gonna be like the perfect way to estimate the value of a user over his lifetime. So yeah, summarizing up, go big, don't be impatient, work recklessly on your creative again and again and again, being more radical about your approach. And when you look at the data, think a lot about this proxy to long-term value ratios. That would be my 4 big direction to drive long-term ROAS, not for next week, but for next 6 months and next 2 years.
But
Love
maybe
it.
actually to add here, because I think in general ROAS is a very interesting topic, but I think what is really enforcing now is really strong cooperation with the product teams. Like, what is the roadmap for the product? Like, how actually how much risk we can take. Yeah. So if we, for example, have a very strong roadmap that will be, growing the features that will increase the long-term, day 30 plus ROAS, for example, then of course we can have more risk versus if we see that there will not be much product development on that side and the product will be free. So whatever we have during the next 30 days, that's what we have. Yeah. So I think this cooperation with the development teams, understanding how the LTV curve will be changing in the future versus what is now, I think creates this better platform to choose what is the good trade-off between risk and the scale, because at the end of the day, always we need to kind of take this trade-off. Yeah, we could have say, okay, I want to have the ROAS back in 7 days, but very often for many games or for many products, the scale will be very small, sometimes even not possible, for example. Yeah, so I think understanding, for example, what is the cash flow of the company as well. Yeah, so like if we go and extend, for example, the ROAS and we miss for some reason, because something changes on the market, it can be even dangerous for the companies. I think I think the more on the UA side we have broader understanding where the company is going, how actually different business KPIs are shifting together with our campaigns and our activities, then I think it will be much better for our business.
This is some great comments. Thank you so much, Mariusz. So together, Mariusz and Thomas just created now a top 5 or maybe even top 6. I'm kind of mixed up right now with the items that you shared together on ROAS and campaign optimizations. This is great, guys. Thank you so much. And we have 12 minutes until the end of our session, and I would still like to cover one important topic, which is around measurement. And we already got Scan4 being mentioned by Mariusz, by Thomas PT as well. And so I would like to ask maybe Daniel Lupu to share his thoughts on that and on perspective on Scan4 and how the UA managers may be ready for it, not ready for it, and what to do to be ready for it.
Thanks, Galina. Yeah, Scan4 is a pretty interesting topic. And over the last 6 months, I think I've been talking to a lot of people trying to crack iOS measurement and learn as much as possible on Scan. And I think all those people had a different approach when it comes to measuring iOS and Scan in general. So while Scan4 provides more postbacks and the conversion window is longer, I think some bit measurement will probably still be problematic for some companies, especially those that have a really long conversion window, like Paul mentioned previously. And travel is one of those sectors as well. When it comes to a high involvement purchase, people would install the app, do some research for a few weeks, and maybe book a flight or buy a car in 50, 60 days. And that would exceed the conversion window provided by Scan. I think in this case, it's really important that businesses pay more attention to the user journey and understand what happens after the install, as that will dictate how they need to set up their scan config. So in this case, I think that the config is one of the most important aspects when it comes to Scan 4. But ultimately, I don't think we should rely on Scan as the single source of truth. So an example from the travel industry, not long ago, we suspected that Scan was underreporting on those on installs. And what we did, we ran a couple of causal impact tests to understand the actual impact of those campaigns. The tests were run in a very controlled environment, and we noticed that Scan was underreporting, and the actual impact was a lot bigger. And we combined the two measurement models to create our source of truth. Now I know that a lot of businesses are using more advanced marketing mix models. So I think, like, as Scan 4 is a big improvement, I think the future will bring multiple measurement tools together, and advertisers will use the insights from all those tools to come to like a single source of truth. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great, Daniel. Thank you very much. I think we're all waiting for Scan 4 to open some more opportunities. And Thomas Turney, I would love to hear your perspective on Scan 4 and maybe some more. What is expected? What should we expect in the future? Oh my God, closer to the end of the session. Apologies.
I guess Daniel's covered a lot of it. Fair play to him. It's from an agency perspective, I guess there's a massive educational piece for us to do with our clients. We are in the process of doing that. Obviously, when performance starts to look a bit awful, they're going to be like, well, what's happening? And I guess from everyone's perspective on the call is just do as much reading and learning as possible so you do get your head around it. Now, we know Apple are notorious for taking their time with a lot of things. So let's see how the next year pans out, which will be fun to watch. But again, I'd just say, I think mobile measuring platforms like AppsFlyer, Adjust, who else have we got? Can't name anymore. Branch, there we go. Like, they have a duty, I think, to let clients know and people who are paying to use their platforms, because I feel like a lot of the information isn't readily available unless you are looking for it. So unless you're an expert in the app field, which a lot of us think we are, but it changes every day. So I guess it's still a learning phase for all of us, and it's something to watch out for, as we've said. And definitely just take your time with it to understand it. I'm still getting my head around it, most of it, some of the changes. It's confusing to go from one to the other. So I feel like I'm still learning, so don't feel like you're out of place. I guess that's the point.
That's learning by doing. I guess we're all kind of like, in a way, pioneers in the industry. So thank you so much for your perspective. And actually, we're at the end of our session. We still have some minutes. I saw some questions and answers running in the chat, which is amazing. Thank you so much for everybody who is being engaged in both sides. And I was thinking maybe we can read through one more question before we go. And I actually like that one about the creative strategies for the app go viral, if there is a way to go viral without relying heavily on paid advertising. Is there a silver bullet? Because in what I see normally, what I usually tell customers, like there is nobody really growing organically to the viral level, or like maybe 1 out of million with this competition.
There is a silver
maybe
bullet.
there is anything. Is there?
There is
okay.
a silver bullet. You just copy what Nikita Beer is doing with his apps. He's done the same shit over again 3 times. Sold the first one for 150 mil to Facebook, went to shit. Sold the second one for 50 mil to Discord, went to shit. And I've seen a new clone appearing called Lit this week. So here's the thing is, when you grow that much on instant viralities, usually you're tapping on some pretty peculiar human needs in the Maslow hierarchy, but very often it goes as fast in the high as it goes down. I would be, I mean, obviously working on virality and referral is important to complement UA, but be careful what you're wanting here. Like the apps that have gone the most viral, most of them, they also vanished very, very fast. Like you want to build a sustainable business. So we all want free traffic, but do you actually want it if it means you make a big spike and you die in 3 months? I don't think so. So be careful what you wish for. Anyone wants to complete maybe with something a little bit less dramatic?
I agree. Definitely agree with that. I mean, what was it? Threads that grew ridiculously fast. Now it's it's the quickest descending app in ever.
Clubhouse, Flappy Bird,
Clubhouse.
you know, 10 years ago as well. Like we forget about all these fads, but especially in the mobile space, there's so many of them. Like they go huge, they go down. I think I would rather build a Duolingo than a Flappy Bird, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. Thank you very much. I don't think that actually it was that negative. It was realistic. And that's exactly what we want. We want some real answers to some really pressing questions. So thank you so much. This was an amazing pleasure for me to host this panel. And thank you everybody who participated, Thomas and Thomas, Paul and Danielle. Thank you so much. That was a real pleasure. And we obviously would like to also thank everybody who is participating in the chat. And please go ahead and do so. Everybody staying there and can still reply to your questions, or also make sure that you find our wonderful panelists and everybody who is taking part in our sessions also on LinkedIn or any other social networks, to also follow them for more information, more advices moving forward for the user acquisition strategy. And we are moving to the next session that would be also about the wonderful topic of Scan4, the one that we already covered partly, and it seems to be a very hot topic, obviously, on the market. And together with that, we would obviously like to find even more answers to what the panelists already mentioned today, and to help you build your Scan4 strategy. And to enlighten on this crucial topic, we are honored to have with us Mike Gadd, the EMEA Customer Success Director at Singular. Today, he will be sharing significant updates on Scan4 and guiding us on how to develop a comprehensive and well-planned adoption strategy for your businesses. So, Mike, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us today, and we are so much looking forward to your session. Please go ahead. The floor is yours. Hi.
I think Thomas actually set it up quite nicely in that previous session where he said MMPs need to do more to talk about Scan4 and educate customers, and that's actually what we're going to do. So
there we are. Wonderful.
So, yeah, he's teed that up nicely, and yeah, it's definitely the subject that we're talking with the most with our customers at the moment, and it's one that's always on the forefront of their minds. So yeah, happy to talk about it today. Now, this session would normally last about 2 hours with one of our customers, and I've got 15 minutes, so there's quite a lot to try and squeeze into one 15-minute session, but we'll give it a go. My email is on the end of this presentation, so if anyone does want to follow up and ask any questions or anything like that, and potentially talk about it in more detail, then I'm more than happy to do so, and please just get in touch with me. Okay. So I'm not going to go into this in too much detail in terms of what the updates are, because I think there's been 1,000 webinars about sort of Scan4 and what those updates are. But what I'm going to talk about in this session is actually how you prepare for it and what we're talking to customers about and what we're seeing customers doing. So the 4 main updates, just as a very quick recap. Apple have really pushed on the idea of crowd anonymity. So the idea being that if you have a bigger audience, if you are getting more installs coming through, you can get more information. And a key thing that's changed for that is the source identifier. So that is the source identifier is what's giving you campaign level information. So whether it's geo or campaign or creatives or placements or anything that you want to see on the sort of campaign level, your top of funnel metrics, this is going to potentially give you more insight. The next big announcement that a lot of people are very excited about is the multiple postbacks. So we all know a key issue with Scan 3 was the fact that you only got a very short window, so 24 hours. What you're getting in Scan 4 is multiple postbacks with a second postback and a third postback, sort of day 8 and day 35. And that is allowing you to see much more in terms of what's going on later down the line on your campaigns. And another thing they're bringing in as well with the multiple postbacks is new conversion value types. So not just having a 0 to 63 number that you have at the moment to encode, you're also getting this coarse value as well of low, medium, and high, and being able to get some insight from that at a lower level for smaller audience sizes. So going back to the crowd anonymity piece, with the conversion value types, they're saying if you haven't got enough installs to be able to effectively get insight on your 0 to 63 number, your fine value, then what you can get is coarse value. And that is going to allow you to get some insight even at lower levels. And then finally, web to app support. Now, this isn't something that's being talked about quite so much with our customers at the moment. It's slightly more limited, but it's a hint of what's to come. And so I see that feature as much more of a sort of watch this space in terms of multi-platform support of Scan, etc., rather than something that we're seeing customers doing a lot with right now. Okay, so in terms of like what we're doing with all those things, then so there's a lot of change and there's a lot of people trying to adapt to that and trying to work out like what they need to do next, and so this is what I'm going to go into. Step one. So the first thing is prepare when you're going to switch, because you're going to have different conversion models for your old Scan 3, and then it's going to change when you move to Scan 4. And there's some key things that happen when you make that change. So for a start, when you switch to Scan 4, your initial conversion value window extends from 24 hours to 48 hours. And now the problem with that is if you've got a mix of Scan 3 and Scan 4 postbacks coming through, because remember, we're reliant on the networks to be able to understand what postbacks are coming through, it's going to cause some challenges, because Scan 3 is only measuring 24 hours, and Scan 4 is going to be measuring 48. So even though everything is looking the same on the postbacks coming through, you've actually got two different measurement periods being shown. Now, that is a problem if you switch to Scan 4 too early and you haven't got enough Scan 4 postbacks coming through from your networks. A key thing to be asking your MMP is, have they got a transition mode in their Scan 4 setup? So where you can handle Scan 3 and Scan 4 postbacks, be able to read those two different conversion value windows, and then be able to take action on it and get insight from it. So definitely something to be talking to your MMP about, and also to be talking to them about your different network setup, and when could be a good time to actually make that switch over to Scan 4. And something that everyone can use is Singular's Scan Adoption Dashboard. So this is just on our website. It's a free resource. And actually what this does show is all of the different networks and the different engagement that they have with Scan 4. So for example, if you're looking to test Scan 4 postbacks and you want to know which networks you're most likely to get more Scan 4 postbacks from, then definitely have a look at this. And you can see, for example, like Unity is the highest at the moment. I think SmartX and Liftoff are pretty high, and AppLovin. So it's a good resource in terms of looking at what is a good time to make that switch. I've just seen a question about sort of what do you think are the most valuable aspects of Scan 4 for advertisers? I would say it depends on what you need. If you are a very large advertiser, the source ID is fantastic, because you're going to, at much larger scale, you're going to get much more information. If you're a smaller advertiser and you're not getting as many installs, then actually the course conversion values are really essential, because you can get some insight, but at a lower level than you would do otherwise. Okay, so yeah, I'd recommend having a look at the Scan Adoption Dashboard and using that to plan when you're going to make that switch from Scan 4, so from Scan 3 to Scan 4. The next thing I would recommend for your strategy is work out your strategy for conversion models, because you're going to have to build new conversion models to make this work, like with your different like coarse and fine conversion values, but also the second and third postback as well. And a key question we always ask our customers is, what do you want to do? Is it more important for you to have accurate reporting, or is it more important for you to be able to optimize? Or is it a bit of both? Because a lot of customers will say, well, actually, we need both. But it's an important thing to consider, because if reporting is more important, getting things like accurate revenue buckets in your conversion models and things like that, really, really important. If, however, optimization is more important, then actually you're looking more at what are the signals you're seeing most, and what are the signals that are giving you an indication of a really valuable install. And so there's different mentalities to then how you would build your conversion models. For the course values, you've only got 3 things you can choose, like low, medium, and high. So it's really important there to understand, like, you're probably not going to get accurate reporting from your course conversion values. So actually, in that sense, like, is it more useful to use events, or do you want to have like big revenue buckets where maybe you see the jump between, if you've got like a mix of ad revenue and in-app purchases, like that jump where you know you've had your first in-app purchase. That's the sort of thing that you can use with your course conversion values. And then finally, for the postback 2 and postback 3, what are the important things that are happening further down the line that enable you to get good insight into whether your campaigns were effective or not? I can see there's a few more questions coming in, but so yeah, one is how do you see the future landscape of mobile app marketing evolving with Scan? I think it's going to get more and more sophisticated. I think that you'll get more and more insight from Scan, and what we're seeing constantly with our customers is those that really embrace it and get an understanding of it and test it. They see these like bumps every time something changes. So they get a big bump in performance because they're able to get hold of the technology. They're able to get the most out of it. And you need to have other things as well. And I think that was mentioned in the previous talk. Like Scan on its own is difficult to just optimize on its own, but it's a really key part of your overall measurement strategy to make it all work. Okay, so second thing, that was work out the strategy for your conversion models. The next part of this is think about what you want your upper funnel insights to look like. And a key question here is actually, what is more important to you? Is it more important to get campaign level information or post-install events? Because actually some advertisers are realizing that the post-install events, like the quality of users, isn't necessarily always the most important thing for them at that time. And actually trying to get more information at the source ID level, so at that campaign level, is more important. So in which case you're going to break your campaigns up into more granular campaigns to get more insight. And then you're able to get good insight in that respect at the top of funnel. And then maybe you're just going to rely on sort of course conversion values at lower levels of installs after the install has happened to get insights on what happens post-install. The other thing to consider is, what are your preferences for the source ID in terms of what is important for you to track? So is it that you want to see creatives? Is geo really important for you to see, etc.? So definitely have a think about that. Because that's going to form a really big part of the next thing that we recommend here. And that is talk to your networks. So there's a ton of different schools of thought about sort of what's going to happen next. And a big part of that must be the advertisers. So talk to your networks, find out what their plans are for source IDs. What are they planning to do? Is it going to be completely controlled by them? Will it be controlled in some ways by the advertisers? Like, how much of a say will you get? And also, what are their Scan 4 implementation plans? So when do they expect to be rolling things out? When do they think they'll be sort of higher up that singular dashboard of Scan 4 adoption, where you can actually start testing? And again, that's going to feed back into point 1, which is, when are you going to make that switch? Because it's going to help you give insight to that. Okay. So like I say, I've got my my email up on here. And I think we can do a poll, I believe. And the question I'm keen to ask is, what is the thing you think you need help with most? So is it when to switch? Is it what your conversion strategy is going to be? Is it going to be around your source identifiers? Like what is, how are you going to make that work? Or is it like how you talk to your networks? Like, are you struggling with actually what questions you need to ask them and what conversations you need to have? So yeah, if you can vote on that, that will be great. And then I think we can show the results now. Okay, cool. I mean, that's kind of what I was expecting with conversion values being the top. That's the one we talk to customers the most. But great. Thank you very much for your responses on that one. Okay, I've managed to cover that whole 2-hour session in about 12 minutes. That means we have got time for some questions, which is great. So I'm just having a look through and say, is it possible to manually select the course conversion values on Postback 1 on Singular, or is it set to default? So, I mean, different MMPs have got different ways of doing it. The way that Singular does it is you choose all your find values. And then on Postback 1, what you can do is you can map your find values to your course values. And that way, the reason we do it that way is because it really helps with the modeling. So if you're trying to model from find the course or course to find, it helps that there's alignment there so that we're able to easily do some modeling between the two. There's another question saying, are there specific types of apps that you believe benefit most from Scan4? I think it's an interesting question. I think we've seen a number of different models and different genres where they can do well out of it. So I think the gaming is definitely a genre which does very well in general, because they're usually like very, very good at sort of taking on these sort of challenges well and making the most of it. And also things like if you're tracking ad revenue, so you can do that in Scan and you get those signals early. So if you've got ad revenue, you're able to generate revenue in your first 24 hours, 48 hours. That's quite good for Scan. And so actually we're seeing that work quite well. But with Postback 2 and Postback 3, where we're seeing something really cool is with subscriptions. So if you've got a subscription app, actually you can almost map, like, has someone converted in a free trial in the first week? Has someone got to the first month and then renewed? Like, that's really cool things to be able to track that you couldn't do previously. Okay, and then I thought Scan is not available on UAC. So in terms of UAC campaigns, I would recommend talking to your Google account manager. I know that we are getting more and more integration with Google to be able to optimize your Scan campaigns more effectively. So definitely worth a conversation with them to see if you can get more insight there. And yeah, that's all the questions I had here. Cool. I think we covered everything. So thanks very much.
Mike, thank you so much. That was very, very impressive session. I have to admit that Scan4 is the topic that I consider the most complicated somehow for myself. So thank you so much for covering this and also to answering all the questions. And it's great also to see that that Singular is doing so much to actually educate the community of the Scan4 adoption process. So amazing. Thank you very much again. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Mike Gadd and his amazing presentation today on Scan4. And I would like to take a moment also to tell you that the Singular team is hosting the Scanathon on December 5th and December 6th. Our marketing team has already shared the link to get a free seat and to register for the event. Maybe the team can do that again so that you would not miss it, and definitely reserve a spot for yourself. This is going to be definitely very, very interesting. And of course, please continue posting your questions, your comments. We still have several great sessions ahead of us. And at the end, don't forget, there will be a quiz. So listen carefully. Whoever is the most attentive is going to get an amazing prize. And so without further ado, let's move to the next topic and the next speaker. So as you can see, we're having this a very great adventure in the ever-evolving landscape of mobile marketing. And now we are transitioning to another very controversial yet interesting topic, web to app strategies. And over the past year, we've read numerous articles and listened to various talks highlighting this alternative, being budget friendly and just a very interesting, good new method to acquire the users. And these strategies are more crucial now than ever in our dynamic digital environment. So my pleasure to introduce you our next speaker, Sergey Golovko, a renewed app growth expert and former head of growth at Coke. Today
yeah.
he's here. Yeah, thank you. Hi, today he's here to share advanced strategies on how to effectively convert your website visitors into app users. So,
yeah,
Sergey,
it's quite long.
Welcome to the stage.
Thanks. Thanks. Hi, everyone. Yeah, truly pleasure to be here today. I'm a little bit jealous about those of you who are like just kicking off the workday, because it's already 11:46 p.m. in Hanoi, Vietnam. But I hope it will be good and I can still go through this, my 15 minutes. It's quite a short session. Okay, up till last month, I was managing the local team in Vietnamese product Cop Cop. Yeah, it's pronounced Cop Cop in Vietnamese. It's mean knock knock in English. And we have a browser and search engine with quite significant market share in desktop. It's a little bit lower in mobile, and that's what actually the mission we like try to break out and like I don't know, to change this trend with the using partnership growth, all the UA mechanics and different stuff. In 2023, we achieved quite good growth in mobile, like 25% in Android and maybe around 40-45% in iOS for new users. And today I will share some approaches, maybe not with so focus on the technical part, because yeah, that's basically what I want to share on the next slide. The idea is that when we're talking about web to app in general, or web to app or some more sophisticated channels or even approaches, right? There are some many materials already. And actually I will forward you to the previous App Growth Week last year, where I remember that it was quite good, like universal session about web to app. And I add here in the presentation 2 links for which I believe are quite good on this topic. What I want to maybe not focus, but at least to talk about today, it's what kind of the way we can use in classic marketing to adapt and make our like user acquisition or some retention strategy more efficient. And the thing which I want to maybe focus on, it's more like product oriented stuff. It's when we unify user experience, the third item over here, and it's basically can consist from another elements. We usually heard about this, like deep linking, universal links, feature match, or cross-platform. Deep linking, of course, it's kind of when you direct users to specific content they need at the moment. Universal links, you're all familiar with the seamless way to connect web and apps through the URLs. Of course, there should be some feature match, right? Because it's kind of frustrating when we see this e-commerce app, for example, with some limitation for function in mobile or something, or cross-platform experience. It's maintained the continue user experience mostly. For example, in browser case, it's quite important when you have when you started your user journey on web and then you just want to continue it on a mobile. And some kind of common sense stuff, it's consistent design, it can be relevant for some user groups, I believe. What I want to add here, it's the kind of user intent. And let's think about this. It's more like invisible element, usually. It's more like, but it can have a kind of crucial role to result. And I can do it like this. I can say it like invisible spicy, which can help to improve our metrics. And today I will try to show the few examples, a few cases we did. Let's get out with some definition of it. It's mine. It's like very subjective. It's totally like my take. Please consider it like this. But I suggest the intent in this case, it's like more broader than contextual targeting. It's when you're trying to predict the user expectation or needs before they actually express it or articulate it in some search terms, some behavior, some actions, or to really doing something. Okay. And yeah, I decided to present some cases in the this kind of matrix view. Let's try to explain with this. Here we have 6 different types of features we have inside our product. Most of them are ranked in top 10. I choose to represent this as this kind of matrix view, and you'll get through this. On the horizontal, we can see here the ad sets, landing page, CPP, custom product page, and onboardings. And it's what we usually working on with the marketing materials when we're doing web to app, right? On the columns here are just our features, which will represent this intent stuff. Okay, first of all, let's take a look for the cell number 1. It's this music playlist, and it's our feature, one of our core feature, and ad set. It's just the way how we usually present it inside the team, but yeah, the idea is easy. That everyone here it's specialist, and you all know that we have ad sets, for example, the Facebook ad sets. And here we have this our music playlist feature, which is basically a few words about that. On the right side of the screen, you can see that it's our standout feature, compiles music from 4 free sources. YouTube, SoundCloud, which are famous, but 2 more which are quite popular here in Vietnam. And you can create your own playlist, listen offline, like on the background and so on. And we encountered challenges in the boosting and promoting this feature, to be honest, when the beginning. And based on the user acquisition metrics were not so good. And then we a shifted approach from showcasing the cool functionality or some maybe targeting music lovers on the Facebook or TikTok, and we switch it to brainstorm what else actually they're concerning this kind of users. And we discover the few primary concerns, even secret concerns, and actually that was money. Some users couldn't afford it, for example, students, while others got used to listen, I don't know, through pirate streaming, for example. And this actually really contrasted with our internal research, and we did it before in our we interviewed the coworkers, and a lot of them young guys. We saw that okay, it's quite similar, but that was bias. All of them answered, why I need the one more stuff in my browser? I have my Spotify account. But yeah, that was actually controversial. That in the real interview of the real users, we found opposite intent of them. And we use it. We use it with the creatives like this. You see it on the left side. It's kind of picture showing the 3 bully guys with subscription price on their t-shirts, and opposite to us, someone who really helps with someone who really helps to solve the problem. In this case, to just more convenient to consume the music you have free online. Okay. And the result was quite well. I can say it was amazing. Oh, the good comment, by the way, but minus 25% in CPI. And this actually creative became one of our best on the general type of campaign. That means we started to use this feature-based intent as the part of our general user acquisition strategy. Okay, let's move on. It's one more thing. It's about landing page. I'm pretty sure that there are so many bright guys here who doing a lot of stuff with app to app with landing. That's why maybe my approaches will be quite simple and not so impressive, but I will show you how we doing it with the intent stuff and how we improve it with the intent. In this case, I just decide to represent it in one place, how we combining basically our landing pages. We using the pieces, the elements which we believe can be better. Of course, we're trying to not overload the landing page in there, but sometimes, okay, guilty. We can do it even sometimes very overloaded. Some findings really helps. For example, one of our best landing page, and we tested, to be honest, more than 100 for the last year. And the one of the best there was when we present the ad block as the features and functionality, because we kind of using that technology and we can do that. And we noticed that a lot of people like really good react on that. There is AdBlock plus something, because it's quite well-known brand. And that's landing one, and we increase CR conversion rate to like click to install quite well. Okay, I saw that was so many reactions in chat probably, and yeah, I'll answer the question because I really need to follow the timing. Yeah, I need to hurry up. I will try to answer maybe a little bit later on. Okay, let's move on. Again, CPP, and again, so many guys who even split metrics. It's the guys are writing all this stuff to optimize the CPP, and they actually base the product on it. That's why maybe I'll just share only one example of what kind of things we found with that. We optimized with the CPP. First of all, sorry, I just take a look a second for the questions. Just a sec. This case may be quite similar to what we usually thinking about the same contextual targeting funnel, right? You see here the Google search, then you see some web to app landing, then you see the specific custom product page, and we just adopt all this funnel, and then you see the app, like some onboarding. What we did and how we work with intent here, that was the small optimization of it. We actually did some research on the audience on the Facebook. We just posted something that, okay, guys, you can get a free account. That was not easy to get an account in ChatGPT in the beginning when they launched it here in Vietnam because of the phone number. They not allow and reject all Vietnamese phone numbers. And we just, to share that, okay, we'll give everyone a free ChatGPT account before we launch official product, our own Kokok AI product. And when we tested, we realized that we have so many answers from students, and the audience was so excited to use it. And we changed most of all marketing materials based on that idea that most of our users probably will use it for like learning, because they're like students in university. They are not the office worker as some of us expected based on our internal, interviews. And this is one more way how you can change the logic of to discover these insights. Okay. And yeah, the result was quite well in this case too. Then onboarding, and I believe this is the most maybe less impressive part, because we didn't achieve the great result in onboarding. That was the few significant improvement, but that was few percent only, like few percent on DU and 3% up to retention rate, but not more. Maybe you'll get some better results, and I really want to ask you guys if you have some case, and please share, because I'm quite interested about this, how to improve it through onboarding. It's so complicated for me. We really struggle with that. Okay, and what else? What kind of else? Where we can discover this intents? Where else? And again, as I said, the social proof. We even not invent because it's kind of interaction metric in social. When you have, your likes, shares, and some comments divided for the reach you have, it's kind of metric showing your interest to your specific post. And we usually rate some activities in organic social to find this kind of posts which doing quite well, better than others. And that's how we discovering more insights. The cast depth and interviews, I already mentioned, it's quite good. All quantitative and even qualitative research can do a lot for that. The product research, I will share you one case later. Google Search Console, we did a quite random and quite good case with the Google Search Console. And review and feedback, I'm pretty sure everyone here working with that. Okay. I have still 1 minute or something, right? Because I really want to share one slide of product research. It's quite complicated, looking like quite complicated, and actually spent maybe 2 or 3 months for that. What is representing here? It's just a distribution of our growth on iOS based on the features or consuming which are most it's new users only, first of all, in iOS, and it's showing which kind of type of consuming behavior we tracked inside the application. That means if we see that users doing more searches, we'll like put it in the group like doing searches, or like doing some YouTube activity. It will be here in YouTube. And we found that in some specific this type of user consumption or user behavior, we found really impressive growth for the 1 year. That was mostly two, at what YouTube consumers, and that was movie streaming. And based on that, we not only like refocus our like marketing plan, product plans, and change something in our sprints for the future. We also change the way how we like even planning the marketing campaigns, because it's quite important part and what important piece of understanding of your like new users. Okay, and the best part of it, actually, it's not to just how to discover. The best part of it, I believe, that in some kind of common cases, that was no growth at all. For example, the news consumption over here on this like just plus 2%. And that means it's kind of common way what you using your mobile browsing for, right? But it was no growth at all. Okay. Yeah, that one of funniest case was with India, which we actually that appear like more or less randomly based on just okay, maybe I'll really share this case somewhere else because I'm not sure I have enough time. But the idea is that the Indian guys, they just decide to change the name for us because the Cop, to be honest, in English, not sound very good. And yeah, they changed us for Coco. And I decided, okay, why not? We're really flexible on it. It's now not our core market, and we decided to change our name there in store. And I used for that the Google custom listing. Confusing with the naming, probably custom listing, yeah. And I changed and renamed our application in India, and actually that increased the CTI rate quite well. Yeah, it's like simple solution, but you can achieve the great result. Okay, thank you. And this is not just a shark. It's the shark which actually bites the internet cable, which connect the Vietnam with the global. And you know, that was the few incident. Please Google it. It's so funny. A few incidents with them when we totally was like our like global connection was so like bad during these days when some sharks bite it. Now, I guess it's not connected with sharks anymore, but the people call it like shark incidents. And yeah, please be like local relevant. And yeah, let's keep in touch. I have my QR for LinkedIn over here. I see that Galina already appeared here. Yeah, I'm here. I'm finished. Thanks.
Sergey, thank you so much. It was very insightful. It was super energetic for the person who has midnight right now at your place. You are like you have a lot of energy. Thank you so much for all the information. I encourage everybody to stay in touch with Sergey and with everybody who is speaking today. Sergey, thank you so much for being with us. And so now, without further ado, so that we would stay more or less on the timing, we're moving forward, and we're gonna go more into UA and growth best practices. And here, please welcome together with me the app growth experts from Splitmetrics Agency, my wonderful colleagues, who are going to be covering a very important topic of synergy between App Store optimization, user acquisition, and design, and how this synergy can amplify results and drive growth. So welcome to the stage, the agency team. The floor is yours.
Hi everyone, welcome to our real life experience session dedicated to the winning app growth formula. First of all, thanks a lot to everyone who joined us today. During these 20 minutes, you'll discover the successful approaches for app growth, you'll see the numbers and best practices, explore the latest creative trends, and how incorporating these trends can influence your campaign results. Let's start with short intro. I'm Eugene, head of Splitmetrics Agency, with over 12 years of experience in mobile and digital marketing. And in my work, I focus on helping developers and publishers to scale their businesses using ASO, user acquisition, and design services. I'm a big fan of tennis, so feel free to drop me a message if you're up for a game. And real true app enthusiast with over 250 apps on my smartphone. constantly exploring the latest in app world. And I'm here today with my amazing colleagues, passing the floor to tell a few words about themselves.
Hi everyone. Happy to be here to share my knowledge with the audience. My name is Evgenia and I am a design team lead at Splitmetrics Agency with more than 7 years of experience in graphic design. In my current role, I'm dedicated to creating successful creatives to boost ASO and paid UA efforts. And for you to learn more about me, I enjoy traveling, discovering new places and cultures. I also love dogs and I'm totally coffeeholic person. So with all of that, I'll pass the floor to Maxim.
Hi to everyone who joined us today. My name is Maxim and I'm user acquisition team lead at Splitmetrics Agency. What about me? I have more than 13 years of experience in marketing and including over 5 years in mobile marketing. And being in my current role, I help large and mid-sized mobile app publisher run campaigns, hit KPIs, and grow businesses. So what more about me? I like archery and traveling, especially I like exploring unknown and unpopular places, ruins and old castles. So I think that's all about me, and I'm passing the floor back to Eugen.
Thanks. So now that you all know about our speakers for this session, let me just quickly tell you a bit more about Splitmetrics Agency. We are a mobile marketing agency dedicated to scaling and driving exceptional results for top brands and apps from pre-launch to scaling. You can find more useful cases on our website with valuable info into mobile marketing. At Splitmetrics, we believe in comprehensive approach, whether your app is in early stage or well established. Combining ASO, UA, and design with continuous iteration is the key to success. Let's move on to ASO part. Basically, ASO plays one of the crucial parts in user acquisition performance and can impact a lot of metrics. Here, the team will share in the chat the article that was based on our ASO team research and how ASO mistakes can affect your app. As a bonus, there you can find tips on how to fix those mistakes. And moving on to the next slide, we all know that ASO is continuous and complex process of optimizing your app to improve its visibility in the App Store and Google Play stores and maximize the conversion rate from page views to installs for all types of traffic sources. I would like to briefly mention the key elements of ASO: keywords, visuals, localization, in-app events or live ops, A/B testing, reviews and ratings. Each plays a role in improving your app's performance and user acquisition. And of course, a few words about metrics. These are measurable aspects of your app's performance. Metrics like keyword ranking, app visibility, conversion rate, cost per install, organic install, lifetime value, and app revenue can be affected and improved by ASO activities. Define the metrics that are important specifically for your project. Divide them into micro and macro metrics. Keep in mind that ASO should work together with mobile marketing and development teams. Only this way it's possible to achieve significant app growth. For instance, it's vital to be aware of which cohort of keywords bring the best lifetime value and work on it. Also, I want to quickly unveil a simple but powerful tip that's proven its worth with one of our clients. There was a situation when the client filled in English for the US storefront and made it default for the UK, Australia, Canada, and the US, referring to the fact that this is also English and users from Great Britain will see this page in English. But such approach can lead to missed opportunities without any optimization, just simply by adding and copying metadata from the US version to the UK. We saw a 35% increase in conversion rate. Whether they're in the US, Canada, the UK, or Australia, taking a few extra moments to tailor your locales can boost your app performance. I'd like also to share a successful case study that demonstrates the impact of ASO on revenue. We worked on Delta Investment Tracker app and the finance category with focus on the US and France markets. Our approach involved keyword optimization to target the most relevant and high-value users. By replacing low-performing keywords and leveraging Mexican geo, we increased the app visibility score by 70%. As a result, Delta secured #1 position for mid-frequency keywords, leading to a rise in organic results. But more importantly, our SEO efforts improved paid metrics, contributing to an increase in app purchases. The charts you can see highlights a significant increase in paying users, plus 52%, and sales plus 50% following this optimization process. This is case and example of strong evidence that ASO has direct impact on revenue. For more on ASO design, let's welcome Evgenia, our design team lead.
Thanks, Eugene. So I will cover the design. I will cover the design side of ASO efforts. Well, an average user spends from 7 to 10 seconds on our product page. That's why first impressions matter. And in terms of uplift in key app metrics, icons and screenshots may be the life and death of an app. Basically, there are 4 major elements and trends that they see captivate users and have a significant impact on downloads and ROI. So those are easy-to-read captions, panoramic view screenshots, social proofs, and of course, personalization. According to my experience, almost 50% of users leave the app product page after 3 seconds, meaning they won't enlarge the images or try to read something on the screenshots. So what should be considered when it comes to captions? Color. Choose a text color with a heavy contrast to your background to be readable at glance. Font and size. Make the text large enough for users to read even on a small device. And length. It's better to use small phrases to make them sound catchy and grasp them easily. Also, by including app reviews, ratings, or rewards, you can also impress the user. For example, in education apps, you can tell with how many teachers and students can book lessons. In photo and video editing apps, how many templates or filters they have. This information attracts the user's attention and helps to gain their trust. Next point is panoramic screenshots. Next point is panoramic screenshots. The most important trend here is when the background and elements on the visuals form a single picture. When creating panoramic screenshots, remember to divide the visuals proportionally. This ensures that on the search page, the first 3 images appear complete, and on the product page, the entire set maintains a sense of harmony. It's also important to mention personalization, which remains a key trend. This involves primarily localizing visuals. For instance, in the example at the right top of the slide, you can see how the same concept was adapted for different countries, adding unique color schemes, regional elements, and figures. Moreover, personalization is also relevant for icons. For example, do not forget to adapt them to seasonality and local holidays. Also remember to match accent colors with the app's theme. For instance, finance apps could use blue shades, health and food apps, yellow and green, and dating apps might incorporate purple. Regarding the target audience, the image on the left bottom side of the slide highlights a screenshot tailored specifically for Japanese locale, incorporating visual trends popular among the young Japanese demographic. And of course, if we're talking about design, then it's worth mentioning artificial intelligence. We use it in our work, in particular for inspiration. However, when it comes to design and mobile marketing, you still need to be careful when working with AI. For example, on the left part of the slide, you can see a real photograph, and on the right side, an image generated upon request by AI. As we see some nuances, some incorrect display of hands and fingers with a smartphone. So for us, editing such a visual can take even more time than using our combining photographs. Well, all these design tips we can use not only for ASO design, but also for UA visuals. And with this, Eugene, I'm returning back to you.
Thanks, Evgenia. Moving on to the user acquisition part. So basically, I want to share with you our great combination that boosting app performance. ASO teamed up with Apple Search Ads. Here's why they work so well together. Firstly, ASO helps improve your app's conversion rate. This not only makes your app attractive to users, but also favors your app in App Store's ranking algorithm. Secondly, when you bid on specific keywords in Apple Search Ads, it can also lift your organic search rankings for those terms. Thirdly, ASO makes your page more relevant to the keywords you want to target. So when you use Apple Search Ads, your app becomes more visible. And lastly, the data you get from Apple Search Ads can inform and refine your ASO strategy. It's all about using real, solid data to guide your efforts. In short, when ASO and Apple Search Ads work together, they create a synergy that can lead to a better visibility, lower costs, and improved performance of your app. Let's talk about how we tackled one challenge: boosting the organic visibility of social networking app Locals. Locals team counted on Splitmetrics Agency for user acquisition, so we had to get creative for two main reasons. First one, most searches in app category are specific brands, for specific brands, and the competition for generic keywords is fierce. We found that simply adding keywords to the app metadata wasn't enough, so we tried to do something new. We combined App Store optimization with targeted Apple Search Ads, especially focusing on US and UK markets. By increasing our bids on these keywords, specifically these keywords, we hit the jackpot. Here what's happened: the app's organic for this keyword increased. Keyword that previously got 0 impressions started getting noticed and clicked on in Apple Search Ads. And the numbers speaks for themselves. Impression rose from 0 to 700. The app's ranking improved to 30s. And this strategy, syncing Apple Search Ads with SEO, turned out to be a game changer. And now, to dive deeper into user acquisition, I hand it over to Max, our user acquisition team lead.
Thanks, Eugen. So as Splitmetrics Agency, we help our customer grow their businesses through well-developed multi-channel UA strategy, among many other things. Because as you know, user interact with your brand across multiple channels, and we work with all main paid channels like Apple Search Ads, Meta, Google, TikTok, Unity, etc. However, running the campaign is just a tip of iceberg, as there are a lot of challenges you can face because the world is changing, as well as user behavior, and it means that to be successful, you need to keep an eye on the industry trends and challenges. So let me briefly mention some of them. And one of the important things that affected all the advertisers who promoted apps on App Store is Apple privacy policy update. These changes had a significant impact on the entire iOS market. So even though MMPs and networks provide their own solutions, it's still hard to analyze the result, choose the right channel, and find performing creatives. So then what's more, with the economic downturn, KPIs are tightened, budgets are reducing, and at the same time, the cost of failure increases. And now the budget should be calculated taking into account that the limited data we have, and should allocate it in such a way that the maximum profit can be achieved. By the way, what you should accept is the fact that the mobile market is probably the most dynamic and rapidly changing market. We are constantly facing some kind of innovations, the limitations, audience changes, competition growth, etc. So the main question here is how we deal with all these challenges. And the answer is a holistic approach to user acquisition and marketing. To be more flexible and smart, we use the approach that allows us to choose the most appropriate channel for each product, market, or audience. So how to understand which strategy and channels will perform to the maximum for you? First of all, analyze what business goals and KPIs are. And next steps is the market research. It will help you to better understand the market, the competitive environment, the product abilities and opportunities. So in this way, conduct the competitor research to clarify who the competitors are and what market share they have, and what functionality and USP their app has, of course. Then try to understand what the key markets are and check where is the highest demand for your app, where the market capacity is larger, and where the competition is lower. And of course, decide where do you like to run ad campaigns. For example, the cost of user acquisition, the traffic quality, and user behavior will be different in the United States and Philippines. And after that, you should consider who the target audience is. As users interact with a lot of different media sources every day, you need to uncover which channel your users prefer to use and how to reach them. So knowledge of the product, market, and target audience allows to develop communicative strategy. I mean, what and how we should to say to the users to make them start using your app. And after conducting a thorough research, we as Splitmetrics agency prepares a media plan which serves as a roadmap for future advertising campaigns. You can see one on the slide, an example of one of the media plan we are using at our work. However, do not forget that you have to be as flexible as possible, as a best strategy. Every best strategy requires constant improvement. That means that you should constantly track the result and review the chosen strategy. And finally, we believe that 70% of the campaign success is determined by the creative used. In the post-ADFA era, the role of creative has evolved into some kind of critical targeting tool. In other words, when you really understand your audience, it becomes possible to effectively leverage ad networks. For example, by creating ads that are tailored to your target audience needs, challenges, and aspiration, you can effectively reach and engage with them. So that's why communication strategy is the ideal approach to take, as it involves aligning your creative production with needs and motivations of your target audience. So using the unique capability of specific channels, you can attract and engage new users in a way that resonates deeply with their preferences. And by the way, with the topic of ad creative assets, I'd like to pass the floor to Evgenia, as she'll cover more details here.
Yeah, thanks, Maxim. So as you have already heard, a lot depends on the creatives, and let me demonstrate this statement with our recent case study. Well, we have a client in the financial category currently using Splitmetrics Acquire, and they decided to test custom product pages and compare the performance of their search result campaigns with and without custom product pages. That's where they turned to us. Here on the slide, you can see the screenshots they're using for their apps listing on the App Store. So basically, Maxim covered a bit how the process is organized on our side. So UA team conducted the research and started to develop an hypothesis. After that, the technical task was created. And then on the next slide, you'll see the result we've got. The main idea we had while preparing custom product pages, which you see on the slide, is to refresh the screenshots and make them more attractive. Also focusing on the app's interface and highlighting the key features. When creating the design, we decided to incorporate several trends, including panoramic screenshots, prominent headings, and memojis. Memojis served a dual purpose, as they were used both for localization, emphasizing regional features, and to enhance engagement. And we've got really great results. After 2 weeks in Saudi Arabia, we saw the download rate increased by 32%, the conversion rate increased by 21%, and the number of registrations increased by 74%. Of course, when working with paid UA, we're not just using custom product pages as visual optimization. In our collaboration with managers, we make various banners for ad campaigns, for different app categories, ad placements, as well as channels. And my advice here is to test various creatives for various channels. Video format has also proved to be a successful one for UA needs. It's the best format to stop viewers from scrolling and watch through the video to better understand your app. In gaming, for example, video ads proved to be the most successful one, as it has the power, to give viewers a real taste of gaming experience. Furthermore, you can also show the best features and demonstrate your app in the best light. So do not hesitate to try it for your needs. And if you need any advice or assistance, so feel free to drop me a message. I'd also like to share one example of video preview that we created for our client, the app for learning to play the violins. Yeah, here it is. So that's probably all from my side. Thank you very much for your attention, and I pass the floor to Eugene.
Yeah, I think that's all from our side. Thanks everyone for joining today. We hope you find the insights shared both informative and inspiring. Let's continue the conversation. Feel free to connect and drop us a message on LinkedIn. Until the next time, bye.
Thank you.
Team,
Bye-bye.
thank you so much. Thank you, Evgeny,
Thank you.
Evgenia, Eugene, and Maxim. That was very, very insightful. Awesome. And Sinestro, I also encourage everybody to try the app. It's really good. So when we are moving forward to our very last best practice session, this is going to be a very special session with 5 solo speeches of the 5 very, very prominent leaders from the industry. So without further ado, so that we would not lose any more time, we're going to jump right in. And I would like to welcome to the stage our first speaker, Silvio Perucci, Managing Director at AppRadar. And he's going to share his vast experience on organic growth with us. So Silvio, please.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here, and also big shout out to all the team of Splitmetrics for making this program happening actually. So today I want to talk a bit about ASO, also give you a use case here, and also of course tell you what AppRadar exactly is about and how you can use AppRadar to nail your app marketing, especially in the ASO area. So briefly about myself, as mentioned, I'm Silvio, I'm Managing Director on AppRadar on the SaaS product. And also I have been with the company for around 4 years by now. So I have been from the very early on, I would say, where we started to increase getting away from a keyword tool only up to a more holistic app marketing software, just as Eugene from Splitmetrics mentioned just before. There's multiple facets to app marketing, and AppRadar covers quite a few of them. So let me show you what AppRadar is all about. We can see that AppRadar has many different use cases. For example, one of the most dominant ones is the keyword intelligence use case, where it's all about finding the right keywords for your app to really stand out in the app stores. And then we also are very proud of our ASO workflow tools that enable you really to not only identify keywords, but also implement those keywords directly within the Apple App Store, as well as the Google Play Store throughout AppRadar in the software. So you don't need to go to the consoles, you don't need to log in, you can all do that via AppRadar. Then also AppRadar is very known for spying on competitors. So you can understand what competitors are doing, what strategies they're doing, you can see when they have changed something, what they have changed, and also you can sneak in and really try to understand how many downloads are they making, how did their keyword strategy change over the time, and so on and so forth. And lastly, there's one section that I'm personally very proud of. It's the rating and review section that we just have in the last couple of months really worked on heavily to really bring it to the next level and also integrate AI features in that area. So here we have also been able to really utilize AI to automatically answer all the replies that are coming in. And it's just with the click of a button, you enable it and the AI automatically replies to every single review that comes in, depending on the configuration that you would like have. So I have brought with me also, as said, a use case that I want to go through with you. It's a very simple use case, but yet it's something that is really important to understand and also to see the power of ASO and especially the power of keywords in nowadays app marketing. I have looked at the app Arise, one of our long-term customers. Arise is a calorie counting app, very popular in the App Store. And what we can see here on the right side is the search visibility score for Arise in the time frame between August and October. And you can see in Australia, Arise has had a drop here in the beginning of September in terms of keyword visibility. At the same time, however, we also identified that Yazoo, one of the biggest competitors of Arise, has gained a lot of visibility in the same time frame. So you might wonder yourself as an app marketer, what's going on? How can I identify what has happened and how can I change it? Of course, that this downward trend does not continue. So with AppRadar, there's multiple options that you can take, but one of those options is certainly to look at the different keywords. So When you look at the keywords, then you can see that you have here a lot of keywords that have actually dropped in the rankings. So that means when you look here, I have highlighted some of them that I have a very high search volume as well. So 31, 59, 40, and so on. And those keywords are really keywords that are very painful when you lose rankings on them. I cannot show the keywords due to confidentiality of Arise because it would kind of outline their app marketing strategy in terms of keyword strategy. But nevertheless, you can really see that those keywords have quite significantly dropped. And you have to keep in mind that Arise is a highly optimized app out there. So really the smallest changes already have small effects on Arise that really make a difference on the bottom line. What we can also see is that we have looked at the app timeline of AppRadar, and also we have identified that there have been changes to those keywords or related keywords, such as the calorie and the calculate, and also the tracking and stuff like this, that has ultimately impacted the drop in rankings of those keywords. So now you ask yourself, okay, how can I change that? And the answer is you can change it quite fast with AppRadar again. With AppRadar, I already said it before, we have one of those very amazing tools inside that really allow you to utilize the store listing editor and really publish all of the things right away throughout AppRadar on the App Store and the Google Play Store. So you work with your keywords, you're curating them basically, you're tagging them in order to have the next app update coming up. And then you right away implement them on the left side, whether it's the title, the subtitle, the description, as well as the keyword field. And you just press a single button in the app, and then it goes live on the Apple and Google Store. This is what we have done. And now let's be quite curious what has happened after this change. We can see, luckily, the strategy worked out, and we were able to fight back actually the decline in visibility. Not only have we been able to really gain again valuable ranking positions on the top 10 keywords, but also we have gained one ranking position better on the top 20. We did lose one, yes, but at the end of the day, it's a really good result. And also, as you can see, we increased by 7 to 8% again in terms of visibility, which is a value that AppRadar calculates for you. But also at the bottom line, the total impressions increased by 18%, which really means that a small change in visibility has actually a quite big influence on the impressions that the app is going to get. And all of this you can very easily navigate through and also work with AppRadar and understand what is happening behind the scenes. So just to show you, this ASO use case is absolutely valid. And nowadays, also in 2024, you will be able to work with keywords. You will be needing to work with keywords, I want to say almost. And also, when I look now to the future a bit, what I think that app marketing is all about, and this will be here now my last slide for this section. It will be about the topic of how AI can really contribute to the future app marketing stack. We have been one of the very first ones in the industry that have actually implemented AI in our product. Back in February 2023, we have already started to implement the AI, generative AI feature into our review summary. That means you're very easily able to read summaries automatically and get the outcome just by the press of a button. So you understand what your users are saying, what you should change, and also what users like about your app. And we believe at AppRadar that in the future, we will heavily work on integrating new AI functionalities into the app marketing stack. So that means we will focus on keywords, we will focus on increasing the quality of those keywords, also search volume and so on. All those data points we believe that we can increase in terms of quality with the help of AI and also with utilizing our data points that we have been gathering. So thank you very much. You can reach out to me via LinkedIn or via email. Happy to chat. And thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me.
Silvio, thank you very much for the insights. It's amazing to see how AppRadar are covering so many different areas that our customers definitely would profit from, and also the connection with AI. Yeah, right. It's the buzzword today. Thank you so much for being with us. And we are moving on to the paid UA solutions and some real life experiences, best practices from James Haslam, Senior Marketing Manager EMEA at Mintegro, a programmatic ad platform providing cross-regional user acquisition, monetization, and creative solution. James, happy you are with us tonight. Please take the stage.
Cool, thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I am James, Senior Marketing Manager at Mintegral, and I'm here today to walk you through our recently released feature that is Target ROAS Bidding, or Target ROAS, or ROAS Bidding for short. Before we get started, I think we have a quick poll, so maybe something will turn up on your screen. I was just curious about how many of you are working from home at the moment versus in the office. Oh, there we go now. This is kind of going to more or less inform our event strategy more than anything else. A bit off topic, but I thought I would just run a quick poll by you. So thanks for everyone who's going to answer. So let's talk about Mintegral and what can marketers currently do with Mintegral. For those who haven't heard of us, we offer a range of different solutions for marketers and monetization folk. Strange. We offer a range of different tools for marketers and monetization folks who are looking to maximize user acquisition or app growth if you're on the monetization side. For the former, we've always prioritized providing advertisers with versatile bidding options. And aside from the traditional methods like CPM, CPC, CPI, we now offer Target ROAS for in-app advertising campaigns. Target ROAS bidding empowers advertisers to acquire quality users, of course. It also optimizes for the scale of acquisition that you might need and the quality of the user engagement within your app that you're seeking. Target ROAS is useful for advertisers aiming for profitable growth too. It allows for the real-time analysis and prediction of user LTV with the flexibility to adjust bids to meet your ROAS goals. Target ROAS utilizes automated bid optimization, which also minimizes manual effort thanks to machine learning, the other buzzword of the day. By making dynamic bid adjustments, our software ensures high-quality user acquisition, and with it, you can target premium users even within sub-channels that may not have performed so well in the past. Target ROAS is suitable across a variety of different app genres, but of course, you're going to expect that casual, hyper-casual, and mid-core gaming sort of dominates the sphere. The clients that work with us at the moment include Homer Games, PlayGendary, and WebEye, and they've also have used Target ROAS bidding to unlock day zero growth while increasing overall share of ad spend to good effect. And we also have this case study on our website if you want to seek this data later down the line. If you want to give ROAS bidding a try, it's available to all app developers currently working with our platform. If you're not currently a customer and curious to try our new technology, there is no harm in reaching out after all. In terms of recommended budget, we do generally advise developers to begin with a strong bid and at least 500 per day in spend. And as you'd expect, raising your campaign spend enables our algorithm to gather extensive data, which leads to more refinement of the model performance and probably fluctuations in how you deal with your bids. And that's just the first of a few best practice recommendations we do have for Target ROAS. Of course, you've probably all heard of these if you do work with any sort of programmatic tool, but I mean, you know, I'm overstepping myself. During the initial phases, everyone was pretty much aware of the learning phase. It is no different with this Target ROAS thing. We do request that people do share full post-back data with Mintegral, which allows our algorithm to identify high-quality users efficiently within their budget constraints and leads to improved user acquisition results and minimized initial setup costs. It's also important to set realistic ROAS target. Advertisers should remember that aiming for higher ROAS doesn't always lead to better results. It's important to understand how your chosen target can impact the volume of installs that you attain. And so setting an overly ambitious target might actually limit the reach of your campaigns. Instead, you might want to consider basing those target ROAS on LTV as well as the historical ROAS performance of your apps. It's no surprise that any campaign really rests on the creatives, and so your creatives will matter much into how your ROAS performance goes over time. Advertisers can also run CPI campaigns in tandem with ROAS. If you continue to run CPI campaigns and are already doing so with Mintegral, that can offer you a balanced approach to both scale and quality, and also help you understand your performance over time. Let's set a few expectations. What should advertisers do when performance is not so aligned with expectations? First, it's important to understand that the initial phase of a Target ROAS campaign involves data accumulation and machine learning calibration. Of course, this is the learning phase all over again. During the stage, all machine learning needs time to learn. And as such, patience is key. But beyond the learning phase, you might experience a decrease in performance after 20 days or so. In such a scenario, there are several key areas to investigate. The first is examining the overall performance of your app to determine whether this trend is affecting all of your channels or if it's just certain sub-channels that the machine learning is working on. You may also want to look at any decreases in the install to view rate or click-through rate. If you notice a decline, it will be wise to update your ad campaigns with new creatives to improve your engagement. It also helps if you have both this cost per install CPI campaign and target ROAS running simultaneously. Then you can assess whether both campaigns experience performance declines or if it's just on one channel or another. Then you can find the root cause of the problem, whether it's your unperforming CPI channels that are causing the issue or something else. And of course, you can reach out to us if you are seeing this decline, and we can work with you to rectify the situation. Of course, we will continue refining the functionality of our products in future, including expanding our ROAS capabilities from day 0 at the moment to day 3 and day 7, which will ensure more granular and effective performance tracking over time. Additionally, we'll also be introducing an IAA and IAP targeted ROAS bidding solution in the near future as well. I know that was a quick rush through, but that's all from me. If you'd like to learn more, please reach out to us at mintegral.com/en/contact. And thank you for joining.
Thank you, James. That was very cool to see all the results that you shared. And I also encourage everybody to please go to Mintegral website and check some more stories there, and continue posting your questions in the chat. That's awesome to see so much activity. We do not have enough time to cover all of them, but we will make sure that we will take them out of today and for sure get back to you in any form, whether it's LinkedIn, email, or whatever. You're going to get the information you need. And so I would like to welcome our next speaker. It's Alexandra Subac, account executive at our wonderful Splitmetrics, and she is going to cover the real success story, that's my favorite part, of how automation of Apple search ads and App Store optimization brings enhanced results. Alexandra, please, it's a pleasure to have you tonight.
Thank you so much, Galina. Hi, everyone. Well, as Galina mentioned, my name is Alexandra, and I work as an account executive at Splitmetrics. And first and foremost, I would like to thank you all for joining us today. Hopefully, everything that we share will be insightful and useful for your current business mobile growth strategy. And specifically, me will be sharing the success stories on Apple Search Ads automation. And before I do share the success story itself, it would be important to cover the marketing technology that we used to actually get to that success. Well, at Splitmetrics, we do have 2 products and an agency. The first one is our flagship product called Splitmetrics Acquire. And this is the Apple Search Ads automation platform where you can optimize and scale your Apple Search Ads campaigns. The second product is called Splitmetrics Optimize. This is our A/B testing platform where you can test any element of your product page or in any other environments for both iOS and Google Play. And the last but not the least is our Splitmetrics agency. This is a full cycle marketing agency that can support you both in your user acquisition and App Store optimization. Well, since now we're on the same page of what we have here, let's move to the success story itself. Restyle. Restyle is a publisher specializing in generative AI tools for creating content. And once they come to us with the app Restyle AI Video Generator, basically this is the app that transforms your photos and videos into art pieces by AI. I'm not sure if you're using ones, but my favorite ones were the Viking style or Game of Thrones things. But again, a huge trend for the app. And they came to us with the request to increase their metrics in Apple Search Ads, as TTR and conversion rate, and also boost organic traffic. So we have these 2 requirements, and we started working with them. Starting with Apple Search Ads, when they started working with us, they got the possibility to optimize their campaigns with automation and seeing the full funnel metrics. So while the automation was taking care of all the manual tasks possible, they were mostly concerned about more strategic decisions, how metrics were correlated with each other, and optimizing their campaigns storefront by storefront. Well, since now we have Apple Search Ads optimized and everything is going in place, then we started working with App Store optimization. The Restyle team came and said, like, all right, what if we add cartoon word to our title? And they used Splitmetrics Optimize to test if it's a good idea. They created 2 emulated pages for the top charts for their app. Why top charts? As you can see on the screen here, there is nothing that can distract a user when choosing the app, right? So this is the best place to test your icon, title, or subtitle. And basically from here, you can see the clear decision-making process of your user. While running the test, they realized that the name Restyle Cartoon Filters got better conversions, so they decided to move on with the name. Then, of course, we made some of the work with screenshots and app videos previews as well. I have no idea why, but many publishers, for some reason, reject the existence of app video previews. But we should never forget that 40% of Apple users actually have their power mode on, and all of those users are automatically played. So this is the huge opportunity for you to showcase your app. Of course, there is the rest of the 60%. And in this case, you would have the frame, which basically describes the essence of your app. So you would still get those users to your app. So we've worked on Apple Search Ads, we've worked on the title, screenshots, app video preview, and what were the results that we got? When we look at the performance of Apple Search Ads, I would like to emphasize the date range that you can see on the screen, which is basically 2 weeks. We were able to increase the TTR by 35%. When talking about the conversion rates, we were able to increase it by 6.5%, using the automation, the expertise of the team to help the Restyle team optimize their campaigns. All right, this is for the Apple Search Ads. What about App Store optimization? Well, because we worked both on Apple Search Ads and App Store optimization, we were able to get the organic ranking for Cartoon Filter as 15th place. So we were at the 50th place, we got to the 15th. And this is what we usually say at Splitmetrics. You should never, working on Apple Search Ads, you should never forget about App Store optimization as well. So here you can see the result on working on both of the areas. And of course, not to forget about the impressive conversion from impression to downloads, which increased by 62%. Well, you could say, all right, yeah, we've heard about Splitmetrics, yeah, good solutions, but what's next? So here I am today to tell you about the future outlook of us. First of all, AI-powered features. I'm not sure how many times we heard AI today, but I have a glass of water and I created the game of taking a sip every time I hear AI. But yes, we also gonna be focused on AI-powered features. We're gonna fuel our current tools with AI to make sure that you focus on the strategy decisions while the AI works on something manual that you could save time on. We've been also focusing for a while on building the ecosystem. We want you to be covered in terms of your mobile growth. So eventually, we're working with our ecosystem, making it grow, and maybe you should stay tuned for some news. All right, that would be it for me. Thank you so much for your attention. Have a beautiful day, everyone, and passing the floor to our beautiful host, Galina. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alexandra. These are the cases I love the most, talking about the success. Wonderful. Thank you. So let's move to the creative tech now, and I am delighted to welcome Nancy Roberts, the president of Craftment Plus. And I actually personally had an opportunity to work closer to Nancy in one of the past companies. So I am super delighted to see her today and to hear her talk about technologies and markets and how to empower the creative teams to produce high quality ads at scale. Nancy, please join us. Super excited to hear what you have to say.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Galina. It's been way too long. And Alexandra, thank you so much for those insights. Super interesting. I'm Very excited to be here and joining the Splitmetrics App Growth Week. My name is Nancy Roberts. I am the president of Craftsman Plus, and we are a leading creative ad technology company working with brands such as Nike, DraftKings, Activision, Ralph Lauren, Duolingo. We're a Google, Meta, and TikTok creative partner, and we create interactive ads for multi-million-dollar ad campaigns. So today I'm going to be talking about keeping it fresh and the best practices when it comes to creatives. So let's think about the challenges of creatives. Think fast because you only have 3 seconds, because that's as much time as you have before you get a user to scroll right past your ad and not click on it. So not only that, but the lifespan of your creative is also shrinking. Marketers optimize campaigns. We identify the best performing creatives, but over time, the performance of these creatives starts to decline, and it's natural. So if we as digital marketers feel annoyance when we're seeing the same branded content for months on end, think about how the consumer feels. So we have to think about ad fatigue, how to create high intent creatives, while also increasing installs and CTR to the App Store or the Google Play Store. So let's step into what do you need. Within the sector of creatives, you need to consider what type of ad you want to use to create and deploy for your campaigns. And this can include creative direction, if you're going to use UGC, static, video, what type of creative strategy you'll use, whether you'll use interactive ads such as playables, and beyond that, will you want gameplay capture or even run a digital out-of-home campaign? It can seem pretty overwhelming when you think about it. It's a lot to consider. And on top of that, the fact that novelty invokes almost an immediate response, it fades just as quickly. The more an audience sees the same ad over and over, the more creative fatigue becomes a factor, and the more you're likely to see your ad be ignored. In fact, you'll start to see a drop in impact as few as 3 views. So here are 3 tips that we put together to keep it fresh. Tip 1 is you'll want to monitor your performance metrics. As marketers and performance marketers at that, this is always top of mind. Use tools like Splitmetrics and your MMPs, as well as gathering data from the network partners that you're running your ad unit. Know your customers. Pay attention to the demographics and the data to help you identify who you're targeting. This should be your North Star. You should always be keeping your customer in mind and really understand all of the use cases. And third, leverage creative agencies or in-house teams that have the capability and the capacity to execute campaigns at scale. From my previous slide, you saw that there are so many different aspects of creatives. And so you'll want to really keep all of these things in mind when you're trying to either build in-house or thinking about leveraging a creative agency. And then make sure that the creatives you're running include, at the minimum, these 3 key mediums. Make sure that you're trying to use video ads, static ads, playable ads, and even look into UGC. So at this time, I have a poll question for everyone. So I'm wondering if you're using playable ads in your campaigns. Give you a few seconds to select your answer. All right. Well, it's great to see that so many of you are considering playable ads. DraftKings also considered the same by keeping their creatives fresh, and they saw some surprising results. We saw an overall improvement of decreased time to install of 72%. That's faster than the videos and static ads. And another client, also in gaming, saw their App Store traffic increase by 65% through the use of playables because their user intent and engagement to the ad led to 40% increase in installs. So we're seeing a lot of really interesting results when we're engaging audiences to interact with the ad, it creates a sense of engagement, and there's also buy-in. So they're not only seeing your branding, but they're also playing a light version of the game as they're moving through the experience. And so there's higher intent when it comes to actually clicking on the download now. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today. It was really great to present about Craftsman Plus and one of our use cases.
Thank you so much, Nancy. It was great having you with us. And I personally love playables, and I think they're actually working. So that was awesome to see you sharing the real case as well. Thank you. And so we are moving to the last but not least, obviously, presenter for today, Reed Kuhn, Senior Director Business Strategy at Brunch. And he's going to be covering Brunch-linked marketing solutions that should be a foundation of any growth cycle. So Reed, thank you for being with us today, and please, the stage is yours.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the prior guest for teeing me up like this. I've heard some recurring themes that I think are high value. So let me begin just by giving a very quick 10-second overview of Branch. We are a mobile deep linking and attribution company. So when you think about the role that we play, it's two sides of the same coin. We want to link users into the best experience on mobile and also provide the data to those platforms so that they can measure everything as they do it. And my role there sounds a little bit generic, business strategy. I'm essentially the in-house strategy consultant. So my team works with customers in every industry trying to figure out what are the best mobile use cases and what is the value of app adoption and app engagement. So we're very much in on apps. So that's where we live. That's where we want our customers to be. We know that those users convert higher, they retain longer, they have higher average order values and a better experience, as well as being more secure and faster. So how do we do that? This general strategy, it seems high level, but it applies to every business that has an app. And when you think about it, why do you invest so much in building and maintaining an app? It's because you want users to be there. So we're going to break this problem into just basically two major steps with a bonus at the end. One, how do we drive app adoption? How do we get people to click and download those apps? And we've heard a lot of great examples on paid channels, but I'm going to argue that there are also great opportunities across owned traffic. And once we achieve that, once we get a critical mass to have downloaded the app, how do we deep link them into the app, no matter where you are across channels engaging with users, because there's probably more opportunity than you're currently capturing. In the background, we're always going to be measuring this. We're going to be measuring everything from before the click to during the click to what happens after, even if it has to go through the app install process, the App Store. But we want to provide that to the platform so that they can then return to this cycle and optimize step one and step two. So let's pause. And when we think about mobile apps, I want to pose this to the audience and launch this poll. Where do you most want to deep link users from engagement channels into the app specifically? And we have a lot of channels here. I'm hoping we actually get a nice mix of responses, but we'll leave it up for a few seconds. We got paid ads, email, social media, SEO. Yes, you can deep link from SEO into the app. Offline, of course, OTT. So some of these could be owned organic channels that you're normally interacting with. Some of them could be paid. Even on the social media side, that could be paid as well. And let's close it up, see where people landed. Okay, so a lot on the paid ads, but look at social media popping up very strong. SEO outperforming email, did not expect that. And a little bit of offline. Sadly, no one picked OTT, which is essentially streaming devices. How do you connect people from a streaming device into the app? Well, if you've ever tried to install a new streaming service on your TV and you had to sit there and type in your email address with your remote control, you know how tedious that is. That would be that use case. But the good news is that all of these are in play. So that's the main takeaway, is that we should be driving app adoption from all channels, not just paid channels, but owned organic traffic. And then once we have those users with the app, we want to deep link them into the app no matter where they are engaging from. So we're going to talk about these two big buckets separately. One, how do we drive app adoption? We have multiple platforms. When you think of the app is really the most valuable asset that you have in terms of speed, privacy, conversion rates, retention. So it's a very high performing platform. How do we get people there from other owned channels? And most of these businesses who have an app also have a website, whether a user is on mobile web and they are 2 clicks away from going to the App Store, downloading the app, or desktop. We are seeing more and more QR codes on desktop, both in a reactive way, just upgrading your app landing page and adding a QR code. Now we're seeing people trigger a QR code based on user behavior saying, hey, continue this journey in the app, track your order in the app. Now that you've created an account, make sure you have the app so that you can do all these other things. So desktop app adoption is a high value use case now, and it's very easy to do. And the same applies to offline. We're seeing ad campaigns that are offline, whether they're in print media, direct mail, or commercials. If anybody's watched American football on Amazon Prime lately, you're seeing QR codes in the lower left corner of most commercials these days. So this is a lot of what we used to preach was best practice, and now we're starting to finally see it in the market. Okay, so maybe we've solved app adoption, or at least we have a critical mass of app users. Where and how do we engage with them to ensure they deep link directly into the app? And I want to remind people that a deep link is not just an app open. That is an unsatisfactory experience to believe that you're clicking on particular content and yet you're going to the homepage, or maybe you haven't even signed in yet and then you're left on the homepage. A deep link takes someone through that process into the app to particular content or even a feature. So when you think of a really advanced use case, you might put an email for an abandoned cart for someone that was shopping and then they left the session. You can put an email with that item and say, hey, supplies are limited, click now. And it takes you directly into your cart of the app. The conversion rate on that is very, very high. You're not just hoping that they come back to complete the purchase. You're actually driving that engagement proactively. And this is an example of all the different places where we can use deep linking, whether it's in email, social media, again, desktop, triggered QR codes, or on mobile web. These are just some of the visuals just from one customer of ours, Reddit, that's doing deep linking in many ways, in many different scenarios. And it's very, very advanced use case. The end result is that now we're back to the attribution question. When you use deep linking across paid and owned traffic, you reduce those blind spots. And in this graph, we actually painted a picture that Branch can accelerate your app adoption or app engagement above and beyond not using our tools. But you may also deduplicate some of the paid and organic overlap. And so depending on what networks you are, you may be able to claw back that revenue, or at least have a more accurate view of what your actual cost per install is by deduplicating traffic across channels. And when we think of all the different ways that we can touch a user journey from activation in the app is really just the first point. Once we have that, we have all these other channels that we can engage with to drive up user lifetime value through high quality app engagement and even feature adoption. So think of a channel where you're not necessarily buying anything like your bank, but you might be interacting with features that are high value, like paperless opt-in or freezing your account when you leave your wallet in the Uber. So those are all interactions that could have been done with a deep link. So that's my view of the world in terms of driving app adoption and app engagement. And thank you for joining. If you want more information, scan this QR code, check out our website, and I am pretty easily findable because I have a weird name. Thank you. We have time for a question.
That was an amazing presentation. Thank you so much. Yes, David.
No, I think we do have time for one more question, Reid. There's a question in the chat there if you'd like to answer it.
Yes. Can you direct me? Which one?
I can indeed. One more question. How does your solution help with influencer marketing campaigns?
Great one. So this is one of the newer areas where we're seeing massive opportunity, whether it's affiliate or giving out deep links to influencers. But it's essentially the same thing. Once you have the SDK installed in your app, you can then democratize those deep links and give them out to the masses, whether it's user-to-user sharing or tracking an influencer as if they are their own ad campaign. So you would treat them like an ad agency and allow them to drive traffic directly into the app. We've seen it be very incrementally additive. It doesn't cannibalize existing networks. It just allows you to measure a lot more effectively. And when a user has the app and they click on that link, they go directly into the app. So whether you're selling fashion or even an artist promoting their own music on Spotify, they can use their own links in social media and link people directly into the app to that content.
Brilliant. Vivian Sinclair, there you go. From the mom himself, you have the answer. Reid, thank you so much. So everybody, we are at the end of day one. Unbelievable sessions, unbelievable speaker. Can I just get a round of applause for all our speakers, all our panelists today, and also for our wonderful Galina too, who've done an amazing job. Absolutely amazing. The hostess with the mostess. Okay.
Thank you so much, David. We missed you.
Here we go. So we're going to do a quiz now, everybody. Okay. It's a great opportunity now to win $50 Amazon voucher for your loved ones or for yourself to spoil yourself at Christmas. Choose as you wish. Okay, so let's get started with the questions. Galina, over to you, and let's see who has been listening today.
That's a shame we cannot participate. That's not fair.
I know.
So you are supposed to see the questions right now on your screen, and you have 1 minute max to complete that. So concentrate. So first one, we had a big focus on AI today. So what is the size of the global mobile AI market projected by 2032? That was actually in the first slides, which I was presenting. I remember that. So yes. What is it? So second one, what app was among the cases showcased in the Splitmetrics agency presentation? Ooh, everybody remembers now what was there. And then the last but not least, which of the following solutions has capabilities for reviews management? Okay, a little hint that was covered in the very last session with 5 speakers, the future ready MarTech stack. So if that helps anybody. Yeah, David, how much time do we have left?
Oh, we have got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now it's gone. So
and yes, it's closed. Everybody noticed that. So we are, while our marketing team is obviously looking through all the replies and figuring out who the winner is going to be, we would like to take a few moments to again say thank you for all the companies that are supporting this wonderful app growth motion together with us, for all the speakers that were presenting today, that were putting their time and effort, to all the people who are, to you, to our listeners, to our viewers who are also writing comments in the chat, and also, by the way, replying even to some of the questions of our panelists. So yeah, I found it super perfect today, David.
Yeah, for everybody who's still in the chat, let's get some obviously claps, let's get some love emojis, let's get it going. Yeah, because this would not be possible without you or without our partners as well. So yeah, great insights today and great education too. And the chat is lighting up. Okay.
Amazing to see. Love that.
I believe, Galina, that our marketing team have came to a conclusion who is going to be the winner chicken dinner.
Oh, I was waiting for this phrase.
Hold on, here we go.
There, I can see, I think.
Oh, can we? Have they put it in already?
Yeah, I think I can see the name.
Oh, yes.
I think I can see the name.
I think it is. It's Diana.
Yes,
Diana.
It's Diana Le.
You have won yourself a wonderful $50 Amazon voucher to spend as you please. So congratulations. Well done. Brilliant. And yes, you know, again, tomorrow we'll be doing more quizzes. Again, tomorrow we're going to have more insights and we're going to have another Amazon voucher to give away. So.
Yes. So what is next. Here is a sneak peek for what is expected for the next day. So we're having the Apple Search Ads Day tomorrow, which is amazing. I'm super excited about this one. And obviously Thursday, do not miss the optimization, ASO, user engagement testing, validation, everything you need to know about the synergy that we also touched base today, by the way. So scan the QR code, go to our website, check the program. It's going to be fantastic again. So much looking
and
forward.
You know what? As I said at the start of this call, let us educate you. So come again tomorrow for more fun and games, more insights, more education. Guys and girls, thank you so, so much. And we have got another poll, I believe.
Yeah, just share what you think about our first day. We obviously want to know your opinion and make sure that we are delivering the experience that you consider best for yourselves. So
100%. And if so, what can we do better to make it even more
amazing
than it is? Okay. Well, Galina, don't know about you,
David,
but I'm educated. I'm insightful. I've got everything I need. And I'm looking forward to another session, wonderful session tomorrow with yourself and everybody else. Everybody, thank you so, so much. Again, we will see you all tomorrow, same time, same place, same funky shirt, but maybe I'll change up a little bit just for you wonderful people. But Galina, thank you so much.
Thank you, David. Thank you, everybody. Have a lovely day, evening, wherever you are. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.